Tea sippers. Hey. Happy Friday evening. Happy Friday. Friday. Happy Friday. It's Friday. Happy Friday. Hey, tea sippers. So they done punked. They got him scared. Oh my God, he is the scariest president. He talk all that nose. And then you have the nerve, the gall, and the audacity to be scary. Yeah, Putin, Trump panics over Putin ultimatum. He's scared. Bibi Netanyahu, I don't know why they lying like that man ain't gone. That hand, they done already peeped that hand shaking and look like he need to get a boost, like he got it on some defibrillator. Hey Joe, like he got to get that hand charged. And once I looked at it, it did look like it was something that was gripping on it. Child, these people is funny to me. Why they faking the funk? He ain't got no help. He all by himself. And then I heard old boy say, let me play it. He said, the fake Bibi Netanyahu now is almost out of ammo. I said, say what? Yeah, I can tell I'm feeling better because I'm getting my octaves. My octaves is coming back. My throat ain't totally. Now I need a little cough because I said something. Hold on. Excuse me. Trying to what's going on? Yeah. What is he finna say? It's a lot going on. I was finna say something.
Over Iran and nearby regions is suddenly being restricted or disappearing. High-resolution feeds used by analysts and OSINT trackers are going dark right as strikes intensify.
That's not a coincidence.
Unlikely. This effectively blinds real-time tracking of missile sites, troop movements, and strike damage. The timing suggests deliberate information control.
All right, what's happening on the ground?
Escalation continues. Israel struck Iranian gas infrastructure, including parts of the South Pars field, and claims additional high-level targets.
I know they not trying to build all this up on the White House. Let me cut this music out. Around 2002, a man built a disc brake safety unit from the elevator system in the White House. This system was designed. They got a whole.
I'm a 61-year-old black nephrologist.
People want to be naive, that they don't see the kind of world we're living in. In this world,
you have to denounce
it's not
Jesus
enough
Christ.
To be moral. It's not enough to be just. It's not enough to be right. You know, one of the greatest writers of the 20th century, someone that I admire a lot, was the historian Will Durant. Now, he wrote many volumes. I read most of them. He also wrote The Lessons of History, very brief, 100-page book, in which he said, well, history proves that, unfortunately and unhappily, Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan.
Jesus Christ have no advantage over what?
Strong enough, ruthless enough, powerful enough, evil will overcome good.
Evil will overcome good.
Moderation. So you have no choice.
Evil will overcome good. Y'all remember when I was trying to tell y'all, well, he told you, I ain't have to tell you nothing. And his plan was to convert Christians into Zionists. and he was going to go through the church, the mega churches, to meet that accomplishment. So in his mind, evil will overcome good. I mean, it's a lot of people who just running wild.
You have to be blind not to see that the democracies led by the United States have to reassert their will to defend themselves and to oppose their enemies in time while there's still time, before the jarring gong of danger wakes them up and wakes them up too late. This is where we are now. The fact that people don't see that, the fact that a lot of the news media are harking on a lot of fake news, but also a lot of
Like you still alive?
short-sightedness, and do not see the historic period and the historic struggle that we are engaged in now.
Hey, natural
Doesn't
know.
obviate these truths. We have to be strong. We have to be armed. We have to be more powerful than the barbarians, or they will not be merely at the gate. They'll crash our gates and destroy our societies. That's what Israel is doing now with the United States. You know, if people want to be naive, that they don't see the kind of world we're living in. In this world, it's not enough to be moral. It's not enough to
It's
be
not
just.
enough to be moral.
It's not enough to be right. You know? One of the greatest...
It's not enough to be moral. It's not enough to be right. Wow. Wow.
Writers of the 20th century, someone that I admire a lot, was the historian Will Durant. Now, he wrote many volumes. I read most of them. He also wrote The Lessons of History, very brief, 100-page book, in which he said, well, history proves that, unfortunately and unhappily, Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan. Because if you are strong enough, ruthless enough, powerful enough, evil will overcome good. Aggression will overcome moderation. So you have no choice.
He gaslighting
If you
Jesus.
look at the world as it is today,
he a fool
you
with
have
it.
to be blind not to see that the democracies led by the United States have to reassert their will to defend themselves and to oppose their enemies in time while there's still time, before the jarring gong of
Fake
danger
propaganda on Jesus.
wakes them up and wakes them up too late. This is where we are now. The fact that people don't see that, the fact that a lot of the news media are harking on a lot of fake news, but also a lot of short-sightedness, and do not...
Short-sighted. Y'all wonder why I be hard on these folks coming over here lying. No, you will not come over here lying. I'm gonna snatch that. I'm gonna meet you at the door, not the door, the door. Yeah.
Not see the historic period and the historic struggle that we are engaged in now. Doesn't obviate these truths. We have to be strong. We have to be armed. We have to be more powerful than the barbarians, or they will not be merely at the gate. They'll crash our gates and destroy our societies. That's what Israel is doing now with the United States.
That ain't what you doing. You in the morgue somewhere. And people are coming to you crying, laying flowers on the streets and stuff. Not our war. Now it's not our war. What is this saying? Not our war. Netanyahu blames America for leading it. Can y'all believe that? Thank you. Do you see this? Now it's our fault. Yeah, they done took you out. Didn't I say that yesterday? It's gonna be his fault because they lost. Trump fault because they lost, and that Bibi and Netanyahu got unalive. Now it's Trump fault. Oh yeah, I know he is scared. He's scared. If that's the narrative now, oh my God, they finna put that propaganda on him. Not our war. Netanyahu blames America. Oh, I know he's saying, what type of clone is this? It's the clone's fault. How dare you? You was pulling me around like I was a puppet. And you, sir, was the puppet master. Now that you dead and gone. Ah! Now you said there is no one to blame but Trump. Yeah. Your ringleader gone. Y'all can act like he's still here if you want to. So who fault is it? Yeah. Who how you gonna prove your lies? Yeah, you think you tough. You think you tough, but they done gave you an ultimatum, boo-boo. So you had a scapegoat. A scapegoat when somebody could say it was a Bibi, Israel fight and Bibi Netanyahu forced you. Now him gone. And you started the war. Now you did start it, but you started because you was punked by Bibi them. Yeah. So now they want you. Oh, he was the leader. He was. But how they gonna prove it? Now it look like it was just Trump and his narcissistic arrogance all by himself. They done got what he said. He said he had a list and folk names been marked off. Well, hell, they had a list too. And names are being marked off. So who you guess is next in charge? Oh, they in trouble. Cause this Bibi Netanyahu right here, I mean, it's close to him. They done, well, they trying to add some wrinkles on his forehead and shit, and they got him in front of the right flags instead of that other. You know, they move it. They trying to make make him seem real.
Two leaders have been as coordinated as President Trump and I. He's the leader. I'm, his ally. America is the leader. Israel is, as the National Security Memorandum described.
Now we got more weapons. What he need you for? I mean, because we didn't have no problem. He went around along with your lie that you've been having for 10 years. We have seen you ass since the 1990s. Saying that he had to go. The Iran had to go. Now that you gone, and they done programmed this, who programmed this clone to say that? Because it's dated the 19th. Hold on. They setting Trump up for real. Israel, I guess they say, hell, we set up everybody else. We might as well set up Trump too, I guess. I don't know. But he's saying the good ain't gonna win. It's dated today. No, yesterday. They setting Trump ass up. He said this was the U.S., so they trying to get us bombed. You know, they trying to get us unalive. So I guess he gonna rise from the dead. Like he God. So all these people is funny to me.
I think a month ago, 6 weeks ago, I think something like that, they called Israel the model ally. That's how they call it, the model ally. It's not a superpower, but America is seeking around the world, and you hear it from the speeches of President Trump and others in the administration. They say, where are you? We've helped you all these years. Where are you when we're doing something that is as important, at least as important for you as it is important for us?
We didn't have no problem, no.
And against all the vilifications that are leveled at Israel is sponging off America and all that. No, it's not. I don't think any two leaders.
This is what happens when you take money. You let people
He's the leader.
string you along over money.
I'm, his ally. America is the leader. Israel is,
have faith.
as the National Security Memorandum described us, I think a month ago, 6 months, 6 weeks ago, I think something like that, they called Israel.
Plus, yes, you have been treating kidney disease for 30
Let me
years.
get to the
and
one
here's what I'm doing.
where I'm trying to get to. They out of fuel. This is they out of fuel. Ammo.
Israel is declaring low munitions. Wouldn't it be interesting if Israel demanded more munitions from us and we refused and then they just pulled out of us? You think that's a possibility? It's a possibility. Israel is declaring low munitions. Wouldn't it be interesting if
Low
Israel
ammunition.
demanded more munitions from us and we refused and then they just pulled out of us?
How
You think
you
that's a
out of
possibility?
ammunition
It's a possibility.
and
I
you
wouldn't put that past them at all.
wanted to
There
start a
goes Rome.
war?
You're on your own. And they would literally just say, you initiated it. You started it. You
So
go
now
finish it.
they
I
saying
can see
that he gonna
Israel is declaring
Israel gonna say, U.S. y'all on your own.
Israel demanded more munitions from us and we refused and then they just pulled out of us. You think that's a possibility? It's a possibility. I wouldn't put that past them at all. There goes Rome. You're on your own. And they would literally just say, you initiated it. You started it. You go finish it. Yeah, I could see that.
There goes Rome. You on your own. See, when things get tough, the tough get going, and they leave you out there to fight your own stuff. Now, who is this that's coming in and giving another?
Big breaking news coming in from Yemen. So Yemen's woken up and they've realized
Yemen.
they are now actually joining Iran in this war. And they are saying right now, any more aggression towards Iran from the United States will be met with the full force of the Yemen military. They will sink our ships in the Red Sea.
Hey,
If
Cyrus.
they want to continue to fuck around and find out, they're going to find out the hard way.
Cyrus.
That they will also ally
Pronounce it for me. Speaking.
that chooses to stand against America and the Israeli aggression. Period. Now, I'm going to have this
Seriously. Is
in Iran, because he perceives it as the most formidable obstacle standing in the way of achieving his grand design. Therefore, any American attack or act of aggression providing support to the Israeli enemy against Iran is part of that very same overarching goal, which seeks to enable the Israeli enemy to establish full control over the entire region. This
glad to
is
see
something we
you
cannot
back.
remain silent about, because it signifies the confiscation of our nation's freedom, independence, and dignity, its enslavement and humiliation, the distortion of its very identity, the occupation of its homelands, and the plundering of its natural resources, and the establishment of a policy that permits the desecration of blood, honor, land, and sacred sites. Therefore, this battle is the battle of the entire nation, and salvation for the nation, true glory and ultimate victory are found in moving forward, in striving, in jihad for the sake of Allah Almighty, just as Allah Almighty has declared, and fight in the path of Allah, and be certain that Allah is indeed all-hearing, all-knowing. And Allah, the Most High, says, O you who have believed, if you support Allah, He will support you and make your steps firm. God Almighty has spoken the truth. Accordingly, should the United States become involved in any attack or act of aggression against Iran in conjunction with the Israeli enemy, then the Yemeni armed forces will target their vessels and warships in the Red Sea. Indeed, the armed forces are diligently monitoring and tracking all activities within the region, especially those hostile movements directed against our beloved nation. And with God's help, they will certainly take all necessary and legitimate measures to defend our...
Oh, he putting God on them. Seriously. Okay. I needed for you to... I was trying. I was like, come on now. Remind me, it's been a minute. Seriously. Got it. Hey, Ricardo. Yeah, he said if you want to play, but if you keep going the way you go, you know, Bibi Netanyahu out of here. You can fake the funk if you want to, but if you keep trying to be aggressive, I'm going to take your ass out. Woo! That's what he said. I just had to say it so we could understand, because he was like looking right from that piece of paper. He was saying exactly what was on, and he's saying it real fast. But in other words, if you continue to move the way you move it, knowing good and damn well your backup is out of here and they are out of ammunition. If you keep on, every attack is going to be on the U.S. And you know All you need to do is give up the full Epstein files and we will be through, because that's the only reason why we are in war right now. Yeah, that young man, that little boy at that time, what's his name, Sasha Riley, said you walked up in that, on that ranch and you was making commands like you was running shit. You, Trump, you was running shit when y'all was abusing them little boys. So you need to stand account for your actions. You better be glad that you are not over here in these foreign countries, because we have established new laws that will be blowing you down by a flying squad. Yeah, we got new rules because of the way that y'all handled this. The abuse that you applied to them minors. We are waiting to catch you on our grounds, and we gonna handle you like the criminal, PDFer that you are. That's what he's saying, y'all, on the cool. Yeah. He just saying it real fast so that y'all won't really catch what he's saying, but you keep fucking around over here. We gonna get your people and we gonna get you too, just when you least expect it. Yeah. Turn yourself in. Handle your scandal. Ain't that what that Gina girl say in the Mo3 sector? Yeah, handle it. You wasn't afraid when you was doing things with minors. Don't be afraid now. Yeah. That's what he's saying, y'all.
Cherished country and its proud, resilient people.
Dang, I didn't add a R in there. I have to be able to add a R in there like he just did. Baby, you gotta be able to twirl that tongue when you talking that talk and walk. Oh, you did when you was on that pickle, when you was on Bubble Pickle. Baby, they about ready to release that too. Oh my God. Oh my God. Do y'all know just about every one of them pickle gates? They yanked them. They yanked that when he was on his knees trying to please daddy. When he walked through that door, sit down, let me handle my business. You know when you're good and horny and daddy home and you push him down in that chair and say, I got you, boo. He got you, boo. Sit down. I know your feet tired. Yeah, he had a little off in there. I don't have no diaper on. TP, you ain't got no sense. He said, I don't have no diaper on. God dang it. What type of frackle, knackle, pickle, biting, sucking the head type shit is this? I ain't got no diaper on. Shit. Let's get it on. Hey. Let's get it on. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now, y'all know when I come over here, it is a clown show, baby, because I be seeing some of everything. I be pinning over here to the side. But, baby, they done found a picture of Trump and Lucifer. It said they look just alike.
Which was the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon.
Abaddon.
It's a literal statue from 1848 of you-know-who, and I always say they love to tell us the truth right in plain sight.
They do?
Who is he again? Oh yeah, the angel of the bottomless pit. Wouldn't you say the bottomless pit sounds like a really big hole? Maybe like the deepest hole possible.
The deepest
a
possible.
hole that he needs to dig his way out of. A huge hole. Funny how he has a guide to digging yourself out of.
Close your mouth.
And what was that Bible verse again? Oh yeah, Revelation 9:11.
They saying he's a dumb.
and the 47th one of those, right? 4 plus 5 is 9. 4 plus 7 is 11. And I keep finding that they make these statues, so accurate, down to the 1 and 2 facial markings on the statue. You know who else has those exact marks? Can you guess? Before we get there, though, remember it's the angel of the bottomless pit. Wait, doesn't Elvis's capes look an awful lot like angel wings to you? Was awful fond of them. I wonder if he's trying to tell us something. It's kind of like I'm trying to tell you something. Imagine that. The exact same two in the exact same angle.
Nah, he ain't Elvis. Hell, they was here together.
Wow, but you want to see it even one more place? You've seen me say who the Statue of Liberty actually is, right? That's
I ain't going for that one.
Like, you've seen this whole comparison before, right? Well, do you know the Statue of Liberty had a different original face?
Yeah, but it was black.
Did it look like someone? Oh, and remember how I said
it was
make the statues
it was
so
it
accurate?
was a slave.
Like, really accurate.
Stop
Maybe you
playing.
Can't see it from here, but how about there? You see that one and that one?
He the devil, all right, but yeah, the
you know what's also said about Abaddon, the angel of the bottomless pit, that guy. Well,
but Statue of Liberty was she was black. Hold on.
Welcome to Atlanta's International Airport, where you will be waiting in lines that are going to exceed 8 to 10 hours. Now, half of the people standing out there, you're going to miss your flight, thanks to President Trumpstein. President Trumpstein is the man who surrounded himself with a bunch of dual citizen Israelis, and those dual citizen Israelis have blackmailed our government and our Congress into sending our children off to die in some third world hellhole in the Middle East called Israel.
Yeah.
Moving forward, all flights will face an additional 50 to a 100% APAC tax.
I won't be traveling no time soon.
Coming from the fact that the Middle East is on fire and oil fields are burning all around the world thanks to Trump.
They gonna get him.
Attacking Iran's oil infrastructure. The one thing that was off limits.
Seriously.
Nobody would attack. Israel decided to blow it up anyway. So now, moving forward, all flights will be
I'm so glad you back.
more dollars to travel, and that is what we call the APAC tax. Every time you fill up your gas tank and you put a gallon of gas in your car that is over $3.50, that is called the APAC tax. Well, if you go
APAC tax,
you better
so they gonna hit us with them taxes.
Over the Middle East. And if any of you notice or you say anything
Man,
about the
this
fact
is
that our government
crazy.
is controlled by a bunch of dual citizen Israelis, we will label you as anti-Semitic, and we will bankrupt you, destroy your life, try to get you fired from your job, and unleash the ADL and APAC upon you. Enjoy traveling at Atlanta International Airport today. Long lines brought to you by President Trumpstein. Welcome to Atlanta's International Airport, where you will be waiting in
Ain't
lines
that crazy?
that are going to exceed 8 to 10 hours.
Let me go and get these out the way over here that I already got
Thanks to
pinned.
President
I thought that was
Trumpstein.
another one. But
President
hold
Trump-
on. Look at him. Face on the wall. They hit that. They was trying to hit that wall today, y'all. They was trying to hit that wall where they be throwing they pelvis. Well, they ain't got no. Where they hips. I mean, well, you know, where they hunching that wall. They was trying to get it earlier this morning. Auntie Fee, y'all don't remember when they was swinging? Them little old mushroom, little mushrooms. Yeah, them little old deformed. Yeah. Iran ain't playing with us. They ain't playing with us. Nope. Nope. Now what this one saying? Hold on.
Industrial complex on Fox News talking about how Iran's going to pay us So we got two really important clips here. We got the neocon industrial complex on Fox News talking about how Iran's going to pay us $200 billion for this war. That's why we need to get Pete Hegseth in our War Department $200 billion so that they can go wage war on Iran in the Middle East. Now here's what Iran has to say about that too. So we're going to play both of them. Let's start with CNN.
The free world for the last 50 years.
Yeah, I understand your argument, but I don't think anyone thinks that Iran's actually going to pay $200 billion to offset the cost.
Well, I don't think...
The reason I ask is because...
right now Iran's not going to pay for it, but under a different paradigm where the Ayatollah is not in charge, and we have a different system of governance, and that's the terms of the conditions of surrender. Look, Adolf
Right, but of
Hitler
course
and Mussolini didn't think that those terms were going to exist at the beginning of World War II either, but that's not how it ended.
Yeah, but obviously the new supreme leader is the old supreme leader's son, so and he's described by experts as more of a hardliner. But the reason I ask about the cost and whether or not...
Let me just stop you right there because he's just going to go on with some more Fox News talking points. So let's stop that right there. And let me just show you guys how Iran is thinking and what Iran has to actually say.
It will. The Strait of Hormuz being just the start of something like that. Mohammed, the Washington
Just
Post
one thing,
today,
John. Just
Yes,
one
of course.
thing.
He said, eh.
Iran is shutting the Strait of Hormuz without destroying anything to warn the Americans that this is what is going to happen. And Trump now says that he's going to open the Strait of Hormuz. He doesn't have a chance in the world to do it. His ships are far, far away out of fear of Iranian missiles. His planes are far away. That's why every time they bomb, they have to refuel. And
they know how we move. They studied us.
The Strait of Hormuz
Y'all remember?
without destroying anything
Without destroying anything.
to warn the Americans that this is
He
what is going
said,
to happen.
remember? That guy said
Trump
he
now
studied
says
the
that
U.S.
he's going to open the Strait of Hormuz.
for 20
He doesn't have a
years.
chance in the world to do it. His ships are
And last June was a test run. Y'all remember that? Trump ain't studied nothing. And the people who knew what they was doing, they fired them. And then the other guys, they had them on the U.S. street doing police stuff. Not preparing for no war. They studied us for 20 years.
without destroying anything to warn the Americans that this is what is going to happen.
They warned us.
of something like
Y'all
that.
not ready.
Mohammed, the Washington
Just
Post
one thing,
today,
John. Just
Yes,
one
of course.
thing. Iran is shutting the Strait of Hormuz without destroying anything to warn the Americans that this is what is going to happen. And Trump now says that he's going to open the Strait of Hormuz. He doesn't have a chance in the world to do it. His ships are far, far away out of fear of Iranian missiles.
And they
His
say the
planes
Giants
are
are coming back.
Far away. That's why every time they bomb, they have to refuel. And refuel again to get back. Because of Iranian drones and missiles. So,
Stormy said
Iran is
it
in
was
full
light
control.
as a
There's
feather,
nothing
too.
that the United States can do about it. And therefore, if push
European
comes to shove,
colonialism 2026.
then you'll see the price of oil go to what? $250 a barrel? And then when the markets crash, then everyone will be wondering who did this. And even the MAGA people, who obviously have no moral principles, because forever wars are okay, hiding the Epstein files is okay, even shoot.
Oh man, they all up in our business, ain't they? And Trump know that man he took out, somebody in the over there in Israel have a video of Trump doing things with a minor that he know he ain't wasn't supposed to be doing. They got you on the ropes, baby. I don't know what to tell you.
Shooting white people in the face are okay.
Shooting white people in the face.
Everyone will be wondering who did this. And even the MAGA people, who obviously have no moral principles, because forever wars are okay, hiding the Epstein files is okay, even shooting white people in the face are okay. All that's okay now. But when they lose their jobs and their factories, the factories that they work at collapse, and the businesses go bankrupt, and the price of gasoline becomes unaffordable.
They already know the plan, don't they? They said we gonna get it when it's too late. He's saying Auntie Fee been trying to tell y'all. She been trying to tell y'all. Y'all remember when that I said AI is finna take our jobs? I said it last year. Somebody came in the comments saying no, AI is not gonna take is not taking jobs. Y'all remember that? And I had to go and pull it up and put it in the comment, and then I had to get them out. This man is telling us everything that's going to happen to leave us as a third world country, like I've been trying to tell us. That was their plan. And Trump was on board. He was supposed to start his second term the first time. And when he didn't win, something went wrong in their plan. That's why he instigated that insurrection. He was not going to leave because he had already been paid to do some things to infiltrate the start. And he didn't make it. Something happened. Yeah, remember they was like, go, but you go there and you fight, whatever he said, fight like hell. And they put his ass back in office. But yeah, and it's funny because MAGA are these people who just die hard followers. They really think that whatever he doing is gonna be for the betterment. Yeah, okay. Ask them farmers how they feel now. Ask them cattlemen how they feel now. Yeah. And it's still some of y'all still all up in that diaper, smelling all that rotten, decayed ass shit. Oh, I know he funky. Oh, I know he smell like a funky mothball. Oh! Oh! Oh my goodness. And y'all all up in that diaper. Oh my God. Oh my God. It ain't a Lysol can. I don't care if it's the smell eliminator one. I don't care if it's lavender or linen. I don't care what it is. That shit is lingering in the air and it is funky. But they still all off in that ass. But baby, y'all better wake up. Listen to him, Rashid. He trying to tell y'all they already know what the plan is.
Epstein files is okay. Even shooting white people in the face are okay. All that's okay now.
On the suicide mission.
When they lose their jobs and their factories, the factories that they work at collapse, and the businesses go bankrupt, and the price of gasoline becomes unaffordable, and they have no money to pay for the gasoline.
So we got two really important clips here. We got the neocon industrial.
Hold on. Try to tell us. Funky ass. What is this one? Oh yeah, they got a threat on Jared Kushner too.
Oh, good afternoon, America. I'm coming to you.
You remember, but this is that president from South Africa. He was the one who said that he had just gotten word. See, all of those foreign presidents, they got the word about Bibi Netanyahu. Trump got it too, but you know that was his booty buddy, so he didn't want us to know. The Odelia, you know, he was gonna talk them into getting them clones. He told them, I got 7 of them, 6 to 7 of them clone. Yeah. So he was the first person that I saw that came on out and said that he had just gotten a word from Israel. Yeah. So now he's telling us something Israel daily planned against, a dirty plan against American people. Here, let's go. Come on, Shahid Mohammed.
I want you to listen to me very carefully.
He said, listen what you good here.
Since Israel has been defeated miserably in the Middle East, the war against Iran, now Israel is willing to use the second plan in America.
So you hear how he's putting it. They already have declared it a defeat. Are y'all listening to what y'all good here? Yeah, Trump said he done told, I don't know how many times he got to tell y'all he can get right on in the middle of 45th Street and unalive somebody, and y'all are going to believe everything that he say, even if you see it with your own eyes. Bibi Netanyahu is gone. And they have declared a victory. Now, I don't care what he done told y'all. Yeah, now it's to save face. Like he ain't a loser that we know he is. Like he don't have the mashed potatoes on his forehead, all on his head. Like when he was a child. Yeah. But listen, what you good here?
Good afternoon, America. I'm coming to you with very important information. I want you to listen to me very carefully.
Thank you,
Since
Naturally
Israel
Norland.
has been defeated miserably in Middle East, the war against Iran. Now Israel is willing to use the second plan in America. Israel wants to use its, listen carefully, want to use its drones to attack American shopping malls, American schools, American business. So, push Donald Trump into war the harshest way he can. And also want to kill certain people to take the public support from Iran to America. For example, Candace Owen, Tucker Carlson.
Leave them alone.
Kushner is the Donald Trump son-in-law. Donald Trump is...
Wait a minute now. Leave Candace and Tucker out of it. But y'all hear him say they want to bomb our schools and our shopping centers. We listening? Seriously? Okay, seriously.
Good afternoon, America. I'm coming to you with very important information. I want you to listen to me very carefully. Since Israel has been defeated miserably in Middle East, the war against Iran, now Israel is willing to use the second plan in America. Israel wants to use its, listen carefully, want to use its.
So hold up, is he saying since Israel got their ass whooped, they gonna take it out on the U.S.?
American business. So, push Donald Trump into war the harshest way he can. And also want to kill certain people to take the public support from Iran to America. For example, Candace Owen, Tucker Carlson, Jared Kushner is the Donald Trump son-in-law, Donald Trump himself, and few American Democrat Party leaders. So, you as American, please be aware.
It sounds like he's saying Israel is from the backdoor of the U.S. with the drones. So how he was bombing Qatar and trying to blame Iran, he's finna bomb the U.S., try to take out some people, including Donald Trump and Jared Kushner. Is that what I think I'm hearing? Israel lost Iranian war, now want to punish America for its failures. That's what it's saying over here. Hold on. That's definitely what it's saying. Israel lost Iranian war, now wants to punish America. And that's kind of what that third drone, or not third clone, was trying to say when he was blaming the U.S. Does that make sense? And he was saying, it's your war. You lost your war. And you gonna say, yeah, but he been on point, Joanne. He been on point. He definitely been on point. So, but I see that though. Oh, you talking about Bibi Netanyahu? Because Bibi Netanyahu is AI propaganda that's spewing lies. Now, if it's AI propaganda that's telling the truth, then that's a horse of a whole different color. And see, they are telling the truth because Trump keeps coming out and lying. See, if we had a president that was somewhat forthcoming, we wouldn't have to be getting more of the truer intel from these foreign places. Yeah, so I'd rather listen to some AI information that is closer to the truth than somebody that's coming out altogether lying. They don't even want us over here to know that Bibi Netanyahu gone and they over there celebrating his death. Putting flowers on the side. Pictures and shit. But they've threatened people that if they the media show it, then that's an automatic 5 years. Well, why would they need to do that? When the Iranian leaders were unalive, they able to tell that. It's the reason why they don't want us to know. So he says the Israel lost Iranian war now wants to punish America. I believe that for its failures. It seems like there are a lot of tension right now. It is because he bombed that natural gas with Qatar. Absolutely. So just like they trying to tell Trump he ain't got no leverage. I don't know if Trump is telling the clone, the fake Bibi Netanyahu, you don't have no leverage. You got me out here looking stupid. You got me straight tripping, boo. The whole world's laughing at me. Yeah, so you don't have no leverage. Understand me? That's what they're saying. So yes, there is tension. He said there's talks about Israel possibly targeting American businesses, schools, and malls, which could lead to a lot of innocent lives being lost. Some individuals like Candace Owen, Tucker Carlson, Jared Kushner, and even Donald Trump have been mentioned as potential targets. It also suggests that some Democrats could be endangered too. Americans need to be prepared for whatever comes next. Yeah, but it won't be coming. So in other words, it will not be coming from Iran. It's coming from Israel because they lost the war. Okay, let me get on. Y'all know once I come over here, you know, I don't pin good stuff over here. Where is the one? Who is she? That's a Norway lady in Norway in them Epstein files. A lady. What was this one? Original Black. Oh yeah. I don't know why they hate us. They don't want us to get our just. I don't want to see this baby crying. What is this one? I don't want to see no baby crying.
Or see like photos like this. They say Israel urgently labels China as anti-Semitic, urges global political boycott. You guys ever see things like where China's having issues with Israel? And you think probably that's bullshit, right? Like, so I don't know if you guys are like me, but do you guys ever see like photos like this that say Israel urgently labels China as anti-Semitic, urges global political boycott? You guys ever see things like where China's so I don't know if you guys are like me,
Israel was always starting stuff.
Say Israel urgently labels China as anti-Semitic,
Hi,
urges
Albert.
global political boycott. You guys ever see things like where China's having issues with Israel? And you think probably that's bullshit, right? Like, Israel wouldn't have the cojones to label the entire country of China as anti-Semitic, would they? Well, I dug a little deeper and I said, holy shit, it is. So China unleashes anti-Semitic wave amid Gaza conflict, new reports show. So it wasn't just one. There's like 3 articles out there that say the same thing, but it gets better. Just now, breaking, Japan says it will suspend trade relations with Israel over its genocide in Gaza. And I tried my best to humbly educate you guys about Bitcoin. You don't see Israel promoting Bitcoin. You don't see Mark Levine promoting Bitcoin. You don't see any of God's chosen people trying to cram Bitcoin down your throat. Why? If it was their end-all, be-all to their end-all, they would be over here promoting it. They would be relentlessly. You hear them promoting OnlyFans, Patreon, fucking Pornhub, all of their degenerate filth down our throats? Yup. You see them promoting drag queen story hour in our schools? Yup. You see them propping up NGOs to promote open borders and the invasion of our country? Yup. You see them promoting Bitcoin? You don't, guys. So when I try to explain to people, 8 years ago, like 92% of Bitcoin usage was here in America. Today it's only 12%, and it's a $2 trillion asset. So all around the world, every country, yeah, they don't give a fuck about us Americans. They're leaving us behind. The entire world's leaving us behind. And they're highly incentivized to just let this war keep going, right? This war is destroying us. The war in Israel and Gaza, it's not hurting China. It's not hurting Japan.
Nope.
It's actually strengthening them because it's weakening the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So while
and
we're
they all laughing at us.
ourselves in $38 trillion for the debt, all these other countries are making moves. China went into Ethiopia and built the world's largest airport, employed 25,000 citizens in the poorest country, instantly propelled them out of poverty into the middle class. In Tanzania, they're building Walmarts. And in these Walmart, their version of Walmart, it's all Chinese.
Hey,
products.
Mrs.
So all
Tom.
of these Walmarts that are being built all around Africa, they're buying products from China. When Trump left office, the United States consumed roughly 82 to 88% of all products manufactured in China. Today, it's less than 10%. So we are no longer have this stronghold power. That's why China, every time we put a tariff, China put a tariff. 100% on China, China put 100% on us. Back and forth. Why? Because they can. Because we no longer hold the cards, guys. This facade that Trump's trying to put on, like America's the biggest, baddest, the greatest that we've ever been, and we're back better, bigger, better than ever, that's a fucking lie.
That's a
You
lie.
guys are falling for it. So hopefully you guys are waking up, because the rest of the world doesn't give a fuck about
They
us.
don't move on.
Their day, their reckoning is coming. It's not going to come.
And when he was doing all that dang strong arming with that tariff stuff, thinking he was really, really, really doing something. He wasn't doing nothing. He wasn't doing nothing but making them
So we
move.
got 2 really disturbing videos, just in case you guys
Oh, yeah, no, I
haven't
don't
been
want to see
asleep
that.
over the last 4 years.
Like he was really doing something, and those foreign countries was moving on around him. Yeah, moving on, making deals with one another. I'm not ready to get into the giants just yet. I'm not ready to get into it, but I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to, but I'm just not ready to right now. Putin is happy. Yep. Hold on, what is this one?
At the end of the Third World War, they would control the
Listen.
World War because the Zionist International Congress at Basel, Switzerland, has called for 3 world wars. At the end of the Third World War, they would control the entire world. A billion Christians are
But
fighting a war
y'all didn't
to the
hear
death
when he
against
started this. When the Rothschilds put this all in place.
the World War because the Zionist International the World War because the Zionist International Congress at Basel, Switzerland, has called for 3 world wars. At the end of the Third World War, they would control the entire world. A billion Christians are fighting a war to the death against a billion Muslims, which will leave Israel in charge of the world, which is predicted at the 6th International Zionist Congress in Basel, Switzerland in 1896.
In 1896, they planned this war. Planned it for Muslims and Christians to fight, unalive each other, and leave the Jews, the Zionist ones, to continue the Rothschilds.
Which will leave Israel in charge of the world, which is predicted at the Christians are fighting a war to the death against a billion Muslims,
which will leave Israel in charge of the world, which was predicted at the 6th International Zionist Congress in Basel, Switzerland in 1896.
Yep.
After the Zionist Congress in 1896, you had World War I, World War II, and now we have World War III. At the end of World War I, the Rothschilds organized a number of groups called, one was the Royal Institute of International Affairs in London, called Chatham House, and that is the think tank of all of Europe today. And although its headquarters in London, the real headquarters are in Brussels, which is the headquarters of the Lambert family, which is part of the Rothschild family, or the World War.
Yep.
Because the Zionist International
They all
Congress
family.
in Switzerland has called for 3
They
world
all
wars.
family.
At the end of the Third World War, they would control the entire world. A billion Christians and fighting a war to the death against a billion Muslims, which will
Continuation
leave
of
Israel in charge of the world.
Three
Which
Crusades.
was predicted at the 6th International Zionist Congress in Basel, Switzerland in 1896. After the Zionist Congress in 1896, you had World War I, World War II, and now we have World War III. At the end of World War I,
1896.
the Rothschilds organized a number of groups called, one was the Royal Institute of International Affairs in London, called Chatham House.
1896. What do we have to say about that?
Think tank of all of Europe today. And although its headquarters in London, the real headquarters are in Brussels, which is the headquarters of the Lambert family, which is the Institute of International Affairs in London, called Chatham House. And that is the think tank of all of Europe today. And although its headquarters in London, the real headquarters are in Brussels, which is the headquarters of the Lambert family, which is part of the Rothschild family.
And Rothschilds been doing, it used to be Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. You don't hear about the Rockefellers no more like we used to. But this has all been planned and orchestrated. Hold on. I'm loving Kent. Joe Kent. Now they're trying to bring him up on charges.
You believe there was reason to investigate foreign ties to Charlie Kirk's murder and were told by the FBI, DOJ?
FBI and DOJ.
No, you're not allowed to investigate that.
Stop. It's done. Basically cut off our access to be able to get into that information. I didn't even say necessarily that I believe there's 100% foreign ties. There were data points that we needed to investigate that pertained to some kind of a foreign nexus that we were stopped from.
You believe there was reason to investigate foreign ties to Charlie Kirk's murder and were told by the FBI, DOJ?
FBI and DOJ.
No, you're not allowed to investigate that.
Stop. It's done. Basically cut off our access to be able to.
Reason to investigate foreign ties to Charlie Kirk's murder and were told by the FBI, DOJ?
FBI and DOJ.
No, you're not allowed to investigate that.
Stop. It's done. Basically cut off our access to be able to get into the information. I didn't even say necessarily that I believe there's 100% foreign ties. There were data points that we needed to investigate that pertained to some kind of a foreign nexus that we were stopped from.
That's a lie. He ain't sketchy. Stop that.
As inconceivable that could happen.
Why somebody who have morals and integrity stand up for something other than a lie is sketchy? Man, that's crazy. That is crazy as hell to me. I don't understand that process in people. You know good and dang well that Tyler Robinson was not the person that unalived him. Now he's sketchy. I don't understand that. That made me think you one of them. Yeah, that made me think you one of them. Trying to collect one of them checks. Do you know that they really not paying them people all that money that they said that they was paying people to come on here and throw them narratives? You got to pray for Mr. Kent, especially for protection for him and his family. Absolutely, Dorothy. He praised them while he was working for him. The minute he go against his program, now he wasn't strong enough. I mean, Trump ain't loyal to nobody. In the minute somebody goes against his lie, he say something negative and condescending and disrespectful. Anybody that still believe in Trump and all his 50 million lies, on top of being a PDF, or something is wrong with you. And I ain't saying no one in particular, but if the shoe were it, put them bad babies on and walk on back out the way you came in and go somewhere else, because I ain't gonna lie for you. I ain't lying for you. Hey, JR, no lies for you. I ain't lying for you. I'm going to tell you the truth and hopefully give you an opportunity to think about the foolishness that's in your head. Get your heart and mind right and call on the Lord to set you free, because time is of the essence. If you don't know God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, from the pardons of your sins, you may want to get to know him expeditiously. MAGA tricks. Yeah, we silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. Get your life right with Christ. Have a renewing of the mind, just like Charlie Kirk did. He had a renewing of the mind. He knew that what he said about his Christian walk did not line up with the agenda of the MAGA, I'm going to say employment, because it was a job. Hey, Paul Ward. Yeah, and we going to call a spade a spade. That's how we got involved in this, because of Charlie Kirk. I said Charlie. Like, hey, girl, how you doing? Like he Charlie Wilson. Yeah, this is how we got in, because it didn't add up. And I was looking at Charlie Kirk with my side eye. Yeah, get your life right with Christ. Have a renewing of the mind. Ask God to go in and accept. Yeah, you need to accept God as your personal Savior, because the climate, the melting of the ice, the blowing up them mountains where they say is giants. They trying to tap into them aliens. They're trying to melt, go down in them Antarctic holes, and trying to get to the end and pull up them fallen angels. They trying to, go over there and build a new home, a new place, Yeah, they know there has to, so they trying to start a Armageddon. They saying we gonna be soon seeing giants. Yeah, they have been playing. Yeah, they trying to make aliens with all that DNA. They trying to go in and do what God did and make some aliens, fallen angels with humans and stuff. They are trying to play God. Yeah, and they've been doing it for a while. Epstein and Gates and Fucci or whatever these folk names. Injecting folk with these cocktails, putting, they say, uncurable diseases in the cocktails, trying to do population control so that they can have one DNA on Earth. And do we know what DNA it will be? Huh? Yeah, so their plan is to wipe out all the DNA, get population control, get rid of all of these people. And then it will be the promised land. Yeah. Their inheritance. They are the chosen. So everybody, and they know good and dang well it's the black people, the darker shades of the 50 Shades of Gray. Of brown. I'm sorry. Ooh, I'm looking at my battery. It's going to go out. They know that it is the darker brown of the 50 Shades of Brown. They just don't want to accept that. see. They know it. Oh, they know it. But that means that they lose. And we know that they hate to lose. Right? So in order for them not to lose, they're going to wipe everybody out that's not Jewish. Solar radiation makes the skin color change. They saying it's the sun. People move farther north, or everybody went to different regions, and all of that. But they know. Well, I have came seriously. We all are brown, right? It's just 50 shades of brown, and they're just on the bottom end. God speaks of the bronze, so they on the further end, on the opposite end of that bronze. But it's still a form of brown, tan, peach. No, it's still brown. But they don't like the fact. By reasonable. What cave? It's giants that say in the cage right now. So what you talking about? Yeah, you finna make me go here. They know that. They know it. That's why they been whitewashing. Cause the slow folks still believe that hype. Yeah, they know it. Ask your mama. Ask your grandmama and your grandpappy who was here first. Yeah, it wasn't the light of skin. No, sir. They suck on Big Mama's nipple. When that lighter skin of the 50 shades of brown didn't want to feed her own kids. Yeah, no. You better go play with yourself, because I'm gonna teach you something today. Yeah, no. Y'all came from us. We didn't come from you. It's just the jealousy. Yeah, because when y'all came, ran across us, they found out that they was poor. Because the darker shade of brown came wealthy. They came with gold. They came royal. Yeah, and the lighter skin of the 50 shades of brown couldn't handle the truth. So they started stealing. And they've been stealing ever since. You better go do your own research. Go past the whitewash. Go past the whitewash. Yeah. Ask them. Go on, call Siri and chat GPT or whoever y'all get y'all bases from, and then do your own research and see what you find out when that white paint start running down. Yeah, start running down. Now use the what's that called when you skeet that water and it get up in there and all the dirt and stuff. Make sure you use a strong pressure when you start washing that fake pit, that counterfeit picture, so that all the paint comes off. All the white paint that was painted over the brown comes down, so you can see the truth. Hell, Putin, even one of their meetings, them nation meetings, he brought an example of who was here first. Yeah, it's only these simple Simon ass people over here that still want to believe that they are superior. Yeah, and everything that you have is a lie. You stole it. So you better do your research before I hurt your feelings by telling you the truth. So help you God. Yeah. But hold up, I got something for you though. Hold my mute. I know you shaming yourself thinking that you finna come over here and not get the truth. Now I ain't had to school nobody in a while. I ain't had to school nobody in a while. Y'all let him stay for a minute. Don't nobody put his ass out yet. Yeah. Yeah, I got something for you. I just said I wasn't gonna do that. I wasn't ready to display it. But since you insist, we since you insist, yes indeed, Haunty. Yes indeed. Where is it at? I just saw it.
Is a white man the devil?
Yes.
Is it a sin to sleep with a white woman?
Yes.
Did they bring you here from Israel, or did they bring you?
Oh, what happened? This ain't even the one I'm looking for, but I'm finna pull it up.
Is it a sin to sleep with a white woman?
Yes.
Did they bring you here from Israel, or did they bring you here from Africa?
No, we actually came from the west coast of Africa, and the common misnomer is that black people sold black people.
No, it's not. That's true.
Well, no, actually, it's not true.
I know for a fact it's true.
Well, let me educate you. Since you say you black is slow, let me be the one to educate you. Your skin tone doesn't make you who you are. You have Arabs that have brown skin. Right. You have East that have brown skin. So just because an African and a black person has brown skin does not make them the same. So we lived amongst Africans, but we were not Africans. That's why you can find maps that would say land of Judah in the middle of Africa. So when the so-called white man came to find slaves,
we are the original Jews.
Selling Africans. It was Africans selling Israelites and bringing us over here into captivity. Harriet Tubman, as an example,
y'all wasn't even the original Jews.
Her family were raised as Israelites. She had an Israelite name. So when I say real black history, they call it the Dark Ages in Europe.
But that ain't even what I'm trying to get to.
Time when black people ruled Europe. So when you go into the real history, you'll see King James was black. He was not a white guy. You'll see his whole lineage of kings were black people. They were not white people. And then they had the Renaissance era, where they took the greatest alpha male to exist, Jesus Christ, and turned him into a beta, which was Caesar Borgia, who was a homosexual.
They turned the real black Jesus into a homosexual. But that's a part of their practice. See, you understand? They into that stuff. So they took an alpha to a beta while they trying to rewrite and whitewash. boy.
Sister Lucretia, who they made the image of Lucretia to be made.
So they then made it incest. Thank goodness they didn't do that when he was black. But when they came in rewriting and whitewashing, because they're into that type of stuff, they introduced it when the skin got light. Hello. Let's go.
Mary, what does that feel like to believe that a white man or a Mexican man or any man could keep you down, so you got to complain about it rather than over?
So when all of these changes, when they started stealing, overcoming, see, they was poor as shit. They was trifling and poor. And they said these darker skins of the 50 shades of brown came over here with gold and silver and silk clothes and royal. How can we get some of that? Look at us looking like lighter skin. Yeah. Shit. When that started, let's just take it. It's more of us than it is of them right now, and we'll just catch them while they sleeping. And then we'll just change the stuff. Ain't that what Trump trying to do right now? With AI? Y'all know AI is the new whitewash, erasing everything. Every truth is turned to a lie. When you ask any of them generated anything, it's going to tell you a lie. Or it ain't going to tell you nothing at all. When you try to dig off into it, it start telling you no, you don't, you understand? Yeah. So they are just modernizing the whitewash. That's what AI is. That's why they're in a hurry. Because they had a plan and a mission. That's why, what's his name? Elon Musk is a trillionaire. He over there in Memphis making them folks sick. Yeah. Working them machines hard as he can work them to try to catch up. Because he got, oh, y'all thought I forgot all of that? I ain't forgot nothing. And all I have to do is start talking and it'll line right on the yeah. That's why he over there working hard, working day and night. Yeah. Oh, but I don't know what they're going to do now. Bibi Netanyahu out of here. Now they finna start blaming us. Trump. That's why he begging for folk to help him. Help me, help me. Help me, help me. My helpmate is gone. I know all those things I said I was going to do. Y'all know I wasn't going to do them. Y'all know I was just high side. I was just playing. Help me, help me. And you've been getting so many hard no's. No. No. Say it with your whole chest. No. Now sit down. Talk to him like his mama should have talked to him. Yeah, a long time ago. He hate black people. So now we gonna talk to him. Yeah, with that authority. Sit your ass down. You better not move. Like Big Mama and them used to do. Yeah. I saw a lighter skin of the 50 Shades of Brown put his hands on a brother. Shout out to Smash the Topic. Put his hands on a brother. Slapped him. Said some derogatory crap. You know, I have to add my little 2 cents in. And that man looked at him and he said, oh, you gonna slap me with your pinky top. Baby. Woo, what are you slapping for? Talking that thick. Like he was gonna buy that. I don't know how to tell y'all this, baby, but them days for us is over. And it's just not gonna go down like it used to go down. I'm gonna tell you that now. And when they showed it, that hand when he was finna slap every bit of taste bud out his mouth, it paused and it just stayed there for like it was spaced. That hand was spaced, and he was shorter than the big lighter skin of the 50 Shades of Brown. Yeah, like he was running shit, like he was this guy right here. Yeah, back in the day. Baby, when I tell you that brother went up like he was Michael Jordan, he was about to dunk that head in that goal. I mean the ball, you know what I mean. Like he was finna dunk that ball, and like he was all flying up in the air to reach this big old pole. We gonna call him a pole. And he slapped. Slapped the very he ain't gonna have no taste buds for a good 2 weeks, baby. You understand? Slap every bit of taste out of his mouth so bad that the man was asking to shake his hand. I'm trying to shake your hand, man. I'm trying to shake your hand. Baby, that hand slapped some sense into him. You understand? Let me see. And the brother said, well, that's what you should have been doing in the first place. Fuck you mean. You know, because once they fire us up, you know, and they know a treatment coming, they want us to, you know, calm down. Oh, no. Shake your hand for you to try to swing me down. Hell to the no. To the no. Yeah, but before it was over, Yeah, he was asking to shake the strong-handed. I mean, when I say slap these out of here, yeah. So I understand. Let me get back to so I can show this boy up in here that was talking that thick.
What does that feel like?
Yeah.
Well, me being an alpha male myself, I don't know what that feels like. Pointing out crimes is not complaining.
When you complain about the white man.
For example, when the towers fell, 3,000 people died. And in the name of them towers falling, they went to war in Afghanistan. But they've killed millions of men, women, and children that were not with Osama bin Laden. And they have this slogan, "We will never forget." So every year, they bring up the crime.
They would never forget, and we would never go back. We will never go back. Let's go.
But you're going away from what I just asked.
Every year, they bring up the crimes that the Osama bin Laden and them do. But they're still in power. They still have their military. They still have their might. I am not personally oppressed, but my people are. And the reason why they are is because black people are taught to forget what happened to them. And if you don't face what happened to you, you'll never get a solution to empower you to become the alphas that you are.
The alphas that we are.
What God says is.
Yeah, you see, yeah, see how big.
So how can I raise up a nation and not tell them what God says?
But it's a white man, the devil.
Hold on. Yeah. Not all of them. But hold on, I'm trying to get to show old boy what I'm trying to show him. And I don't know how far up. It may be too far up. And then I'm going to go on back over to the other side, baby, because when I come over here, I be having so much good stuff over here. Over here. Why is this message unavailable now? God dang. That was about... Hold on. What is this one saying?
We've been told that this individual, Robinson, is a lone gunman, and maybe he is. But the investigation that I was a part of, the National Counterterrorism Center was a part of, we were stopped from continuing to investigate. There's still linkage for us to investigate.
Because I'm very aware of what's going on, okay? About 48 hours before Charlie Kirk died, Charlie informed people at Turning Points, as well as Jewish donors and a rabbi, that he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause outright, okay?
Oh, boy, no.
He said it explicitly, that he refused to be bullied anymore.
That's what she said, October 1st, 2025, and he said this March 19th, 2026.
Charlie was under a lot of pressure from a lot of pro-Israel donors.
He knew, and others knew, that Charlie was done with Israel bullying him, and I am now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
That was a text grab, a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. But I did share it with some people in government. We wanted no stone unturned. We wanted to leave nothing unturned. So I shared it with a few people. Don't know where it went from there, apparently.
Sources are saying that Joe Kent, the former director of the United States National Counterterror Center, this is from Semaphore.
Y'all please hit the like button.
He's now under FBI investigation for allegedly leaking classified information. And the investigation predates his departure.
That was a text grab that I had shared with some people in government.
We know the pressure because of the text messages.
I'm now going to present you proof. This is an actual group chat. It gives me great pleasure to announce that Joe Kent, I'm going to be interviewing him this Thursday at the Catholics for Catholics event in D.C.
We've been told that this individual...
Did they have that meeting?
Robinson is a lone gunman, and maybe he is. But the investigation that I was a part of, the National Counterterrorism Center was a part of, we were stopped from continuing to investigate. There's still linkage for us to investigate.
Because I'm very aware of what's going on, okay? About 48 hours before Charlie Kirk died, Charlie informed people at Turning Points, as well as Jewish donors and a rabbi, that he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause outright, okay? Charlie was done. He said it explicitly, that he refused to be bullied anymore by the Jewish donors.
We know the pressure because of the text messages that have been made public, that Charlie was under a lot of pressure from a lot of pro-Israel
donors.
You knew, and others knew, that Charlie was done with the issue of bullying him, and I am now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
That was a text grab, a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. But I did share it with some people in government. We wanted no stone unturned. We wanted to leave nothing unturned. So I shared it with a few people. Don't know where it went from there, apparently.
Sources are saying that Joe Kent, the former director of the United States National Counterterrorist Center, this is from Semaphore, he just resigned. He's now under FBI investigation for allegedly leaking classified information.
I think it's over here.
And the investigation...
I think you have it over here, which is 9:30, so hold on. Russian President Putin called. Oh yeah, Ali. He called that a murder. Yeah, hold on. I am really trying to find that. I want y'all to see that hat. I want y'all to see them hats back in the day. That really wasn't a hat. Oh, it was this one.
These original kings were buried in the mud and nuked from history, so these psychopathic parasites could build their fake world. Those queen's guards parading.
That's what I've been trying to show you. Is that clown still up in here? Hello, everybody else that has come in while I was on the search for the truth. The truth gonna set some of us free. You understand? Thank y'all. Can I get y'all to hit the like button? Yeah, first stone. Need you to understand some things.
These original kings were buried in the mud and nuked from history, so these psychopathic parasites could build their fake world. Those queen's guards parading are a global crime scene. That towering headdress isn't a military hat. They stole that style directly from the Moors of the Kazan-Khani in Great Tartary, an advanced Asiatic civilization. They tried to nuke from your memory. Those bearskin hats are nothing but a ritualistic imitation of the thick natural hair, those massive afros grown by the original Hibashi nobility, the true Obashi, who sat on the thrones of Europe while these people lived in caves. See, the ancestors of these people you call Europeans today were the white Obashis, former slaves of the Hibashi, who couldn't grow that crown of power because their biosynthesis failed them. They were pale melanin. Mutants
failed melanin.
Grew animal fur and lamb's wool to their skull.
Failed melanin. Failed. Couldn't get it right. Mad. Because you're not the original. So you want to rewrite. Do over. Paint over it. Told you I was going to hurt your feelings. Told you I was going to hurt your feelings. The truth goes, so caves, hell, y'all chasing behind us because we were royal. And y'all couldn't handle the truth. Truth gonna set you free over here. Yeah, that's why I said let him sit. Let him stew. Let him talk his shit. I got him.
Just to mimic the lords they deposed.
Mimic.
That's our shit.
Mimic. Mimic what you saw. Mimic what you wanted to be. You ain't never been original of a goddamn thing. Always running behind. Hello. Hello. First out. Where your ass at? Look at it.
They're cosplaying with Bob Marley.
And don't you ever forget.
He was exposing the castrato class.
We were there first. Y'all have copied off of us all our lives. Because we are the original. We are the trendsetter. We are the human setter. It would be no you without us. Hell you mean. You're gonna learn today. You're gonna choose your people. You're gonna wipe your funky ass feet. Stop coming over here like you entitled. Like you royal. You know, yeah. When your ass is subpar. You're a copycat. You ain't original, boy. I'm fine. That's why y'all run over there and put suntan lotion and orange makeup on and shit. Yeah. Yeah, the lighter shades of the 50 Shades of Brown want big booties and big titties and everything that we have naturally. So yeah. Yeah, you better do your research. Yeah.
He was talking about the Mameluke and Janissary slave soldiers who were ritually castrated, losing their testosterone in their hair, becoming the gilded eunuchs who build the penitentiaries and schools to lobotomize your mind. Today, these bloodlines, the Orsini, Medici, and Rothschilds, align with the satanic banking cartels that funded Epstein's List and global human trafficking. It's all part of a gollywog ritual, a theater of mockery, where they dress in the habits of the people they slaughtered, being you, to ensure the original people stay mentally dead. They snatched your headdress from the Kazan to fake the natural glory of the ancient Moors and Hebrews. The high-status nobility of the millennial reign knew the truth. Growing your hair out was the divine covenant of a peak human being. Moorish empresses and royalty grew their natural hair.
Our DNA is in you.
Afros as a sign of
yours are not in ours. That's why the Epstein, Rothschilds, and them were trying to create their own. That's why they trying to depopulate. They trying to do everything that God did, and then they can make themselves the chosen ones. Yeah. Y'all have our DNA. We don't have yours. And Epstein was over there in one of them basements and tunnels being Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, stealing and eating humans, playing with aliens and shit, reptilians and shit. They're trying to mock the original DNA and make it theirs. That's why he put his DNA in every one of them cocktails and folk arms so that his DNA will show up. You better leave me alone. You better go over there. You better get away from here, boo. I'm gonna hurt your feelings.
Every memory of these beautiful Moors through iconoclasm and whitewashed history because their own biosynthesis failed them. You wonder why the barber shop is the biggest institution in our community? Because the system socialized you to pay money to trash your own godhood. Hair is an extension of your central nervous system, a literal antenna for your soul, and a divine covenant. The corporate system and the prisons force you to shave to disconnect you from your awareness and your royalty. While you're in that chair throwing your power away, the Ashkenazi is in the Shiva growing his locks out, rocking the Horus lock, because he knows the blessing you were tricked into hating. That Horus lock, that's ours. They repurpose your palaces after the historical resets.
Them Jews, we seen that Jew guy with them kissy curls. We ain't had no kissy curls. He was a straight up warrior. Strong and solid.
These original kings were buried in the mud and nuked from history so these psychopathic parasites could build their fake world. Those Queen's Guards parading are a global crime scene. That towering headdress isn't a military hat. They stole that style directly from the Moors of the Kazan-Khani and Great Tartary. In advanced Asiatic civilization, they tried to nuke from your memory. Those bearskin hats are nothing but a ritualistic imitation of the thick natural hair, those massive afros grown by the original Hibachi nobility, the true Obashis, who sat on the thrones of Europe while these people lived in caves. See, the ancestors of these people you call Europeans today were the white Obashis, former slaves of the Hibachi, who couldn't grow that crown of power because their biosynthesis failed them. They were pale melanin
Aboriginal people.
mutants who
Bless
had to
you,
glue
Joe.
animal fur and lamb's wool to their skulls just to mimic the lords they deposed. That's our shit they're cosplaying. When Bob Marley sang about crazy bald heads, he was exposing the castrato class. He was talking about the Mameluke and Janissary slave soldiers who were ritually castrated, losing their testosterone in their hair, becoming the gilded eunuchs who build the penitentiaries and schools to lobotomize your mind. Today,
Trap
these
doors
bloodlines,
and
the
living
Orsini,
rooms
Medici, and
leading to the
Rothschilds, align
Caribbean,
with the satanic
Caribbean
banking
Sea. Yep.
cartels that funded Epstein's list and global human trafficking. It's all part of a gollywog ritual, a theater of mockery, where they dress in the habits of the people they slaughtered, being you, to ensure the original people stay mentally dead. They snatched your headdress from the Kazan to fake the natural glory
But
of
it's
the
true.
ancient Moors and Hebrews.
And we still
The
strong. We
high-status
still
nobility of the
rose.
millennial reign knew the truth. Growing your hair out was the divine covenant
So
of a
much so
peak
they
human
still
being.
mad.
Moorish empresses and royalty grew their natural hair, those massive, beautiful afros, as a sign of supreme status and genetic frequency. They've tried to erase every memory of these beautiful Moors through iconoclasm and whitewashed history because their own biosynthesis failed them. You wonder why the barber shop is the biggest institution in our community? Because the system socialized you to pay money to trash your own godhood. Hair is an extension of your central nervous system, a literal antenna for your soul, and a divine covenant. The corporate system and the prisons force you to shave to disconnect you from your awareness and your royalty. While you're in that chair throwing your power away, the Ashkenazi is in the Shiva growing his locks out, rocking the Horus lock.
There go them kissy curves.
Because he knows the blessing you were tricked into hating. That Horus lock, that's out.
Look at her, y'all. Trying to be black on the cool. Hey, Pat. With kissy curls. Yeah. Where you think they got that from?
They repurpose your palaces.
That's where they got it from. The Moors. We royal, baby. Yeah. Yeah. Now, I hope, don't come in here saying nothing smart. I had to cheat you a little something while you over here running your mouth, thinking that you was going to poke fun at us. What you poking fun at us for? We came royal. Y'all had to steal. Y'all fraud. That's why all Trump do is steal. Yeah, exaggerate numbers. He couldn't get it legitimately. Yeah. He couldn't do it above law. Yeah, so gone, miss me. Miss me. All I'm going to tell you is, it ain't going to go down like y'all think. Let me get on from over here. Yeah, I had to give him a treatment. He had to get that treatment. Come over here talking that yin yang. Yeah, that yin yang yang. Yeah, talking that. Talking that. Hold on. Says, where will Israel be after the war? Let's hear this. I didn't listen to it. Yeah, they mad at.
If you look at the main beneficiary of this war, it is Israel. Because Israel has...
Where is Israel in a few years from now?
If you look at the main beneficiary of this war, it is Israel. Because Israel has an ambition called the Greater Israel Project. They believe their God, Yahweh, promised to their ancestor, Abraham, all the land from the...
Where is Israel in a few years from now?
If you look at the main beneficiary of this war, it is Israel. Because Israel has an ambition called the Greater Israel Project.
That is naturally
grown.
God,
So Yahweh
is.
promised to their ancestor Abraham all the land from the Nile in Egypt to Euphrates. According to game theory, the main constraint to Israel achieving the Greater Israel Project is actually not Iran, but America. Because America guarantees the military safety of the GCC. And so it needs to figure out how to remove America from the equation. This war has shown the limitations of American power. The American people do not want this war. And so it's very possible that America is forced to withdraw from the Middle East, which allows Israel to remake the Middle East in its own image.
He said the war can go on for 10 years.
If you look at the main beneficiary of this war, it is Israel. Because Israel has an ambition called the Greater Israel Project. They believe their God, Yahweh,
We hope
promised to
God
their ancestor Abraham all the land from
before
the
then.
Nile
I
in
have
Egypt
to
to
cuss
Euphrates.
out
According to
Black
game theory,
Women
the main constraint to
You cuss
Israel
her out,
achieving the
Janet.
Greater Israel Project is actually not Iran.
They don't know no better.
Because America guarantees the military safety of the GCC. And so it needs to figure out how to remove America.
I mean, they do, but they don't. You know, some of that whitewash is still in there. We gotta acknowledge that whitewash. I mean, because they think that these changes don't affect them. Or their kids, they not thinking that far down the road. That's the part that kills
Where is
me.
Israel in a few years from now?
If you look at the main beneficiary of this war, it is Israel. Because Israel has an ambition called the Greater Israel Project. They believe their God, Yahweh, promised to their ancestor Abraham all the land from the Nile in Egypt to Euphrates. According to game theory, the main constraint to Israel achieving the Greater Israel Project is actually not Iran, but America.
Ain't that where them giants at? The fallen angels, Euphrates?
To figure out how to remove America from the equation. This war has shown the limitations of American
seriously,
power. I got him. Want this war, and so it's very possible that America is forced to withdraw from the Middle East, which allows Israel to remake the Middle East in its own image.
Where is Israel
okay,
in a
let
few
me
years?
get on. A well-served treatment. Welcome back, seriously. Yes, indeed, honey. Diabolical. You said, and he said the people in Israel have no problem with getting them tore up because they think their prophet is going to come. But Jesus been... I don't know what God... I mean, what we heard him say a little earlier was that evil will defeat goodness. I can't know exactly what the clown said, but he think that goodness is just going to lose. I mean, I don't know what to tell him. He got him gone. I mean, and they in denial about him being gone. But them folk over there, celebrating. Hold on, let me get from over here. They over there celebrating. What a day of rejoicing. There, oh, that's talking about going to heaven, ain't it? Yeah, no, yeah. Yeah. What's this? Dallas County Sheriff. Hold on, y'all. I just want y'all to see how much bigger this man was, or this brother that got up there and tamed the giant. What did you say?
Predicts some of Donald Trump's biggest claims regarding his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh,
Dan
yeah?
Goldman unveiled this.
Oh, yeah, he lied. What was this?
Israel is declaring low munitions. Wouldn't it be interesting if Israel demanded more munitions from us and we refused, and then they just...
Oh yeah, they out of missiles. They on their way out of missiles. How you gonna start a war and you out of missiles? Oh yeah, they thought in a couple of days it was gonna be like Venezuela. I want y'all to see this man. I ain't gonna let y'all see him hit him. But look how he all up in his face. Look at him all up in his face. Come on. Am I on it? Yeah, I'm on it.
Fuck
I'm trying to stop it before he put hands on him. So y'all see the height? Look at that big O. Look at that big red. Yeah. He finna try to do it. So hold on. Hold on. So y'all see him swing. Y'all saw that, right? Yeah. Where little man? Okay, so they right here. So red, big red, popped out first. Okay. Look at him. You see his fist? You see that fist? Uh-huh. Oh, he's standing over him. Look. He over him. Oh, he put his shit down. Oh, shit. Y'all know when we start the hopping up and down, baby. Y'all know when we go, we start putting shit down. Oh, yeah, and we start going jumping up and down like we finna ride this. Look at the hand. Look at, what? 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 Give me your hand, man. Oh, so that's like I can start a war. And when I know the shit fit, I'm just gonna stop it. And then say I won. Oh yeah, no. So my illustration was on point. That hand goes up like he got that ball and he finna dunk it. You see that hand? It's spread apart. Hold on. I was gonna cover it. He put that baby powder on it. Product. Look at here. He popped him so it moved his position. He slapped so hard, he went from here to there. Look at his mouth, y'all. Y'all know when we tuck them lips in. Oh, baby. That means we trying to hit you with all our might. Baby, all I know is it just ain't going down like you think. Them days are over. Them days are over. Huh? What? Talk about high five to the face, baby. Spit him and spin himself. One was spent one way and one was spent the other. The taste in his mouth got knocked out and is down here on the concrete. He slapped the taste out of his mouth for at least a good 2 weeks. Oh, yeah. Bro had fallen. Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't let y'all see it. But hold on. Baby, they both went one way, one went the other. After he slapped the shit out of his mouth. Woo! Oh, look. Oh, yeah. Oh, and so when he went the other way, he wound up being up under his arm. I don't know how he thought this was finna go. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know. Hold up. Baby. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Shot. Look at bruh. Look at bruh. Look at bruh. Baby, bruh. Look at him. Oh, holy shit. You done hit you. Your face is redder than it was before. Now here, what? He's talking about she's recording it. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, he's talking about she's recording it. Yeah, she was recording when you put your hands on me. Yeah. And she recording now. She recorded your taste buds on the ground. Look at her. He's about stop. Stop. Yeah, bruh. Look at bruh face. And he bouncing too. Now he got his fist balled up. Oh shit. Now his ain't. I thought your fist was. Yeah. Look at bruh. Oh yeah, you finna get it. You better. What is it called? What is it called? De-escalate. You better de-escalate. You better de-escalate. Please stop. We done. He said, please stop. Please stop. We done. Y'all better stop putting y'all hands on folks. Don't let Trump get your ass toe up from the floor up with that bullshit. That's all I'ma say. Them days is over. He realized he messed up 5 seconds later. I knew this was gonna be the joke of the day for us, for the tea sippers. Come on. Please stop. We done what? We done what?
I'm trying to shake your fucking hand, goddamn. That's what you should have did the first time.
I love it. I love it.
That's what you should have done the first time. We done what?
Stop. We done. Wait, done. You want to be done? We done. I want you to play with me, bro. Alright, we done. Don't fucking play with me. I'm trying to shake your fucking hand, goddamn. That's what you should have did the first time.
I had to slap the taste out of your damn mouth.
I love it.
I had to give it to you. Cause they run up in here like somebody gonna be scared of them. Boy. A boy. De-escalate the excursion. Yeah. Y'all better leave folk alone, boo. We ain't going. That's all I'm gonna say. We ain't going. We are not going. Okay? Let's get on back over here. Y'all hit the like button. That was fun as hell to me. I ain't gonna even lie. Especially when old boy came up in here talking that, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Talking about we from cavemans and shit. No, that was y'all. Y'all look more like the chimpanzee. Yeah. Yeah. Trump gonna get that ass toe up from the floor up. Y'all better. And it's gonna be the ones y'all least expect that's gonna flip on your ass and give you a treatment. All because y'all know we was here first and we royal. And y'all did the old bait and switch. And then you start doing all that whitewashing. Yeah. But God gonna turn it around. It's coming. God, we just gotta keep the faith. He gonna fix it. Yeah, he ain't gonna let y'all do all this stealing, impersonating and shit. Yeah. Let's go. Let's hear this. Panic. They scared. You got a lot to be scared of. You got white folk thinking they can come put their hand on black folk. And it ain't, yeah. Okay, a treatment come with it. That's all I'm going to say. From the mountains, yeah. Where's the volume? And he think he want them giants and fallen angels. Yeah, you think, because them giants, yeah, okay. Enoch, all that y'all didn't want us to know about, it's going to resurface when y'all go in there and melt all that ice to let the fallen angels free so that they can rule. Y'all do know a fight comes with that. And I know y'all know the word. You telling folk that they can't you say Jesus, they can't, oh, okay, they can't, okay, well, yeah, you know with that type of stuff, a fight comes with that. If you know the word, when it's all said and done, Enoch comes back. They go to war. And the devil loses. Them angels, fallen angels, yeah, they down in frozen waters for a reason. Y'all can play with God if you want to. Well, that's what they trying to do on the cool. Seriously.
Intelligence to Iran, but he said that he would stop giving intelligence to. Donald Trump is panicking as Vladimir Putin just put him on blast and made a public ultimatum trying to call Donald Trump
that's what
Trump's
ICE is.
regime out. Putin said that yes, he is giving intelligence to Iran, but he said that he would stop giving intelligence to Iran to help Iran target American soldiers, kill Americans, and harm American interests.
You hear that? Putin.
Intelligence to Iran, but he said that he would stop giving intelligence to Iran to help Iran target American soldiers, kill Americans, and harm American interests, so long as the United States cuts off support to Ukraine, Politico reports. Now it's...
So if he don't cut off support to Ukraine, what that mean? That mean Trump don't care nothing about us. You understand? Because he know Putin ain't playing with him. He knows Putin ain't playing with him. So if he don't about face and make some changes, and he don't put the threat on American people, but he don't think that mean him. But y'all remember that South African guy, he said Americans, he called out Candace, Tucker, Jared, and Trump. The malls, some of them places. So he ain't off limits. That guy that was speaking real fast and I tried to break it down for y'all, they not playing. Trump, if he sacrificed us, he gonna sacrifice himself as well. Let's go.
Donald Trump is panicking as Vladimir Putin just put him on blast and made a public ultimatum trying to call Donald Trump and Trump's regime out. Putin said that, yes,
we don't die, we
giving
multiply.
intelligence to Iran.
I take that.
But he said that he would stop giving intelligence to Iran to help Iran target American soldiers, kill Americans, and harm American interests, so long as the United States cuts off support to Ukraine, Politico reports. Now it's being reported that the U.S. At a military level is rejecting this proposal, although Donald Trump has not commented. But this has left many across the world incredibly nervous.
I need for y'all to hit the like button.
Donald Trump is contemplating. Moscow
support the platform, like, share,
and you know,
subscribe, get a membership.
Quid pro quos to the U.S., although Donald Trump never makes good on his side of the quid pro quo, unless it's Vladimir Putin, under which the Kremlin would stop sharing intelligence information with Iran, such as the precise coordinates of U.S. military assets in the Middle East, if Washington ceased supplying Ukraine with intelligence about Russia. Two people familiar with the U.S.-Russia negotiations said that such a proposal was made by Russian envoy Kirill Dmitriev to Donald Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff and his other envoy Jared Kushner during their meeting at the end of last week. It's being reported that the existence of this proposal has sparked major concern among European diplomats who worry Moscow is trying to drive a wedge between Europe and the United States at a critical moment for transatlantic relations, to which Donald Trump posted this morning the following. Again, while this war is raging out of control in the Middle East, Trump attacked NATO. Right, so Putin makes this offer to Trump. Trump's response is to say the following. Without the U.S., NATO is a paper tiger. They didn't want to join the fight to stop a nuclear-powered Iran. Now the fight is militarily won with very little danger for them. They complain about the high oil prices they are forced to pay, but don't want to help open the Strait of Hormuz. A simple military maneuver that is the single reason for the high oil prices. So easy
for Netanyahu, who is unalive.
Little risk. Cowards. And we will remember Donald J. Trump calling NATO and our European allies coward. And right now, the markets are reacting horribly to Donald Trump's abhorrent and unlawful war against Iran. Investors are now betting that the overall U.S. inflation in the next 12 months will surge above 5%. We're now talking about likely interest rate hikes versus lowering interest rates as a result of this disastrous war and the inflation that it's going to cause. I don't think it will be surprising if the price per barrel of oil hits $200. Saudi Arabia is predicting it will be at least $180 per barrel, and Donald Trump continues to panic, as I reported earlier today. Donald Trump is sending more troops for a possible ground, to use Donald Trump's words, excursion, but other people would call it an invasion of Iran, specifically the Karg Island, which is in the northern Persian Gulf, right by the Strait of Hormuz.
Before he became president,
Donald Trump considering doing a blockade against the Strait of Hormuz, and this as all NATO allies and essentially every country
get the banks to give him any more money.
They
know those numbers are exaggerated.
For help after Donald Trump went this war alone with him and Netanyahu without telling anybody that they were going to invade Iran. Now Donald Trump is out there calling NATO power.
Yeah, he knew that. That's why he was going to come in, get that steal land, make deals, come up off of this administration, right? And then he was going to have Charlie Kirk in place. He was going to have all of these people in place to keep it going while they go over there and build brothels up and down this new world order, make executive orders to make everybody poor, take all the jobs away, take all the government assistance away. We're going to give our government assistance to Israel. Yeah. So it ain't like they don't want to have some aid, for people. You just don't want the aid to go to the United States. But it's our taxpayer money. Yeah, but now we're going to give it. We're going to help a rich country that's still stealing. Yeah. Yeah, he want all of them. The Cuba is the next one he's gonna steal. That's the problem. He thought that Iran was gonna be as easy as Maduro in Venezuela. Bomb. See, they was getting their target practice and bombing on Venezuela, using missiles to blow them. Yeah. So they thought that was gonna work on Iran, not knowing that they've been studying the U.S. and their military movement for 20 years.
By the way, do you remember just a few days ago, as Carl Quintanilla writes, when Witkoff told Quintanilla on CNBC that Vladimir Putin was not sharing any intel with Iran and that we had to, quote, take him at his word? Take me at my word, everybody. They're not doing it. The issue is this regime is led by total liars. Just a reminder, here is what Witkoff said last week, right at the same time that Russia told Witkoff, we are providing Iran with intelligence. By the way, why do you think Iran has been effective in being able to shoot these American Reaper drones and able to shoot these assets and these energy facilities? They're being helped by Russia. They're probably being helped by China as well. Here's what Witkoff says.
And it was Russia who told them about the military bases. Yeah, who told them about the military bases that was housing brothels for minors, especially girls. That's why they keep throwing it up in our face. That was Putin. How Putin know? How Putin know? How the same how he know about him eating Bubba's pickle? Y'all hold on this scooter. Hold on. Get the light. I'm sorry, y'all. That was Scooter on his way back to school, and they messed up the car. They didn't put the coolant top back on. I'm sorry. Hold on. Hey, Strong Survive. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Yeah, I had to stop for Scooter now. Can you, boy? And now I said, did you call? It's late. Here I go. Did you call them people? And he said, man. I said, oh, so you want me to call him? Typically he don't want me to call y'all. He don't want me to clown. He said, I know you'll give a treatment. I sure am. I sure am. I'm gonna get their ass a treatment. How much did you pay for that? 100. Okay. Man, these people. Yeah, he called and told it on them, y'all. You know I'm gonna have to get him. I'm gonna have to get him. They're gonna send you back some of your money. Let's go, y'all. I'm gonna back it up a little bit. Sorry. Yeah, he want me to get him. He normally don't want me to get him.
Last week, right at the same time that Russia told Witkoff, issue is this regime is led by total liars. Just a reminder, here is what Witkoff said last week, right at the same time that Russia told Witkoff, we are providing Iran with intelligence. By the way, why do you think Iran has been effective in being able to shoot these American Reaper drones and able to shoot these assets and these energy facilities? They're being helped by Russia and probably being helped by China as well. Here's what Witkoff says. Play this clip.
I can tell you that yesterday on the call with the president, the Russians said that they have not been sharing. That's what they said. So, you know, we can take them at their word, but they did say that.
Now, here's what Senator Joni Ernst had to say this morning about the possibility of a ground invasion of American troops in Iran. Play this clip.
Senator, the Wall Street Journal reports that the Pentagon is sending 3 warships and thousands of additional Marines to the Middle East. Now, the president says he doesn't want boots on the ground in Iran, so what are these Marines doing there?
Well, they provide a lot of leverage, Stuart, and I just love the president when he keeps the reporters on their toes. We shouldn't be telling people what we are going to do and when we are going to do it, but believe me, President Donald J. Trump has the best interests of the United States at heart, but he also loves our men and women in uniform. He will not engage them unnecessarily. I know that to be true. So this is why it's so important that we do have partner nations stepping up, whether it's to assist in the Strait of Hormuz or whether it's to help stabilize in the Middle East. But President Trump is very good about this. He's going to use what leverage he has, and we all will be so much better for it, Stuart.
I'm going to change the subject. Now I want to bring in North Carolina's former governor, Governor Roy Cooper. Governor Cooper, great to see. Obviously, a big Senate race in North Carolina. Everyone's saying it's the must-watch Senate race. You versus the former chair of the RNC, Michael Whatley. I want to chat about that race, but I want to get your reaction, of course, to what's going on with this disastrous war in Iran. Unauthorized. I mean, obviously, our troops are first rate. They're going to do everything that our troops are, going to do. The issue becomes, is there even a plan, any coordination with allies? And of course, now how this is impacting the people here at home. So just wanted to get your reaction to everything, Governor.
Yeah, I am grateful for our troops who have stepped up courageously and have eliminated some of the leaders and damaged weapons of an evil and oppressive regime. And we mourn the loss of service members who've given their lives. But right now, we don't know which of the many reasons that have been given are true as to why we got into this war. And we certainly don't have an exit strategy. And now I see that $200 billion is being requested from Congress to fund this foreign war in the Middle East. That'll pay for a lot of affordable health
somebody
care.
would come out
We
and
already
say,
know that families are struggling with costs. So many families having too much month at the end of the money, struggling with rent, utilities, and health care and child care.
The fake weapons of mass destruction.
Gas prices, which
he told them that they was about to be in war before. Hey, Monty. She said he gonna look. Listen, back in June, they knew to move whatever they had because Trump was teasing and telling them, we coming, get ready. On the mark, get set, go. And then he said he got it. He got the weapon. Lying. There are no weapons of mass destruction. Bush lied, and he lied too. Period. So why are we really here? Well, I think that they would have got us first. Why would they be getting you? Because y'all were in making deals. Stop lying. Stop lying. He don't know how to keep no damn secret. Stop stroking his ego, making him think he doing good, and you know good and damn well he has already lost. Tell him that. You're a loser. You're a liar, and you're a cheat. And you have lost again.
Increased almost $1 a gallon just in the last 3 weeks. That's frustrating from the American people. We deserve answers here, and we're not.
Hey, Teresa.
I dare you to
somebody need to tell him.
A completely free e-commerce store, preloaded.
Not only are we not getting answers, we're just seeing zero leadership at all. And people like Michael Whatley, who you're running against in that Senate
he needs to know that.
And all of these kind of MAGA Republican senators are just pretending this is normal when Donald Trump says, you know what we're going to do? We're going to remove the sanctions against Russia.
A lot of, just about all of his stuff done been seized, and he trying to hold it up in the appeals court.
If you remove certain sanctions against me, I'll stop providing intelligence to Iran in order to attack American troops. And then Donald Trump's out there pretending that isn't even happening at all. We were floating the idea of removing sanctions against Iranian oil. It just seems like they're winging it, like someone who shows up for a high school project without preparing for it. Except
he ain't trying to put it in no museum. They gonna sell it.
And he's out there, Trump,
he got
and
debt.
all these MAGA Republicans.
$424 million
political party. It
million dollars. He got to pay back.
Hour of amateur hour right now.
So my opponent
and the judges have told him he has to pay it. They're not gonna put that on us. So yeah, that stuff is gonna be sold. We just waiting for him to stop appealing it. Yeah. Yeah, he still ain't paid her. Oh no. I think she up in there, but Letitia James, she said, oh yeah, pay the piper, baby. You gotta pay. You gotta pay. You done lost. Now you trying to bring James Comey. He lost. Now he trying to get James Comey back. And now Kent. Anybody who can tell on him, he gonna bring their asses up on charges. See, the problem is he can't bring Letitia James back up.
Nothing but a rubber stamp.
And she said, show me my money.
He says what Donald Trump says. He does what Donald Trump wants him to do. So if Donald Trump is in this
he ain't paid nobody. You right.
That he wasn't going to enter such wars, then Michael Whiteley
none of his checks clear.
He's also in North Carolina trying to convince the people here that prices are down and that we have defeated inflation and that our economy is great. And the people of North Carolina know that's not true. Michael Whiteley has been a partisan Republican Party leader for years. He has spent a lot of time in Washington. He is the consummate Washington, D.C. insider, having worked on the Hill for Republicans, became a big oil lobbyist, made a lot of money doing that. He was the chair of the North Carolina Republican Party and recruited right-wing candidates like Mark Robinson, who ran against Governor Stein last year, the self-described black Nazi Mark Robinson said he was. This is the kind of candidate he is. And in fact, he is also an election denier.
Hold on. Seriously, I'm not sure if this is, I think this is. No, because I had two people pop up. Sear. Okay, if this is you in this comment that was left about 3 hours ago, get you some magnesium. There's no explanation why it messed my brain too. So it was probably, I don't know if you got that cocktail. If this is not you, I'm talking to who left me this message about their legs. But you need to stop. If you got that cocktail in your arm, you need to detox. You need to detox. You need to get on some olive oregano every day and get those parasites out of your body. Make sure the groceries that you buy, when you buy groceries, have that U on it. Soap. I just showed the other tea sippers when you was gone. Hold on. I'm not sure if this you, so I'm going to speak as if it is. And if not, they'll read my comments. Get the parasites out your body. Detox. Olive oregano. Get these detox flakes. Soak every day. Get you magnesium. Omega-3. For your brain. I'm telling you, they trying to take us out. That's why there's no explanation. I'm just now reading the comment. So I'm not sure if it's the same, but this is, hold on. You gotta soak your body and your legs in these So that means that you deficient in magnesium. I'm trying to get the light. In magnesium. I don't know how you eat. I don't know what you've had. Right here. Magnesium flakes. If you can get them from the Dead Sea, get it from the Dead Sea. But this right here absolutely works, and I got it from Amazon. Right here. And that's the name and the brand. And you need to get magnesium in your body. You're deficient. You also need to get you some olive oregano. Take it every day. It kills parasites. If you can't afford to take this every day, get you a bag of baking soda, Arm & Hammer. Get in every glass of water, especially in the morning, use some baking soda in your water. It'll make it alkaline, and that will kill parasites. Every day. But you definitely need to start soaking. And this is the big bag. I think this was a 10-pound bag. That's why I got it folded, because it was a 10-pound bag. 100% natural body and foot soap. Oh, it was 8 pounds. Okay? And get well. It's 300. You take 2 of these. Oh, you can't see it no more. In fact, I need to order me some because my bag is getting low. I take it every day. Girl, if you don't get out the way. Make sure it has the black seed oil in here. Olive oregano. Right here. I just had that leg injury. Both legs, y'all. Did not take one. I suffered. Now, don't misunderstand me. I went through some pain. But I refused to put some pain medicine in my system because I know they're trying to take us out. Yeah, let's go.
He still insists that Donald Trump won the 2020 election. We do not need that kind of big oil lobbyist, made a lot of money doing that. He was the chair of the North Carolina Republican Party and recruited right-wing candidates like Mark Robinson, who ran against Governor Stein last year, the self-described black Nazi. Mark Robinson said he was.
No big pharma.
This is the kind of candidate he is. And in fact, he is also an election denier. He still insists that Donald Trump won the 2020 election. We do not need that kind of person representing North Carolina. And folks, this is going to be a close race. Even with what's happening right now in this country, it's hard to believe. But North Carolina hasn't elected a Democratic U.S. senator since 2008. And that year, North Carolina voted for Barack Obama. Polling shows this race close. I'm going to need your help because this is the #1 flip from red to blue U.S. Senate seat in the country. The way we deal with this administration is put the checks and balances back in that the framers of the Constitution intended. And helping us, you can go to roycooper.com and help us and learn a little bit about our campaign. Learn about our Make Stuff Cost Less tour, which I'm very excited about. But I know the frustration level is high out there. We just got to channel that frustration to win elections.
Yeah, we got to vote whether we think I refuse. Don't guilt though. Y'all better not put no flu shot. Y'all Epstein put his DNA in the cocktail on purpose. Who wants to have that DNA in their body? They put that. They put the A, I, and the what's that other? HI. All of that crap. Yeah. Here is, did I take it down? Hold on. Stock up on this stuff. Look on my big old bag. How many? 3 pounds of baking soda. Every day when you wake up in the morning, I prefer to make mine warm. Just not a whole teaspoon, kind of just like the, you know, half of the front. I don't know how to tell you. It's at the tip. Let me see if let me show y'all how much I put in my water in the morning. Dang it. I thought I had a plastic spoon. Hold on, I'm gonna show y'all. So y'all won't overdo it. It'll have you run into the bathroom, boo-boo, if you put too much of this on. I prefer a warm water in the morning. Auntie Fee, will you loan me some money? You, baby, you on triple time, quadruple time. You was supposed to be hitting my Cash App. Y'all see this? This is how much I put in my water. Okay? If you have a big old glass, just a little more. But this is what I put in warm water. And I also add a little a pinch of sea salt or the Himalaya salt. No iodine salt. Stop using iodine. The Himalaya and the sea salt has those trace minerals that our body is deficient. That's why when our body is start acting a fool with us and they can't tell you what's wrong, you're deficient. Or they done gave you something to intentionally that's not good for you. Okay? Every morning, get in the routine. And when things get really, really tough, get y'all some big old bags. I ordered, yeah, man, Scooter had to find the right generator. I ain't never had to be looking for no solar panels generators, you know, but we already know what's coming. They playing with our livelihoods. They trying to starve us out. And we know how to survive. And I just want to be prepared. Hold on. And then, you know, then we won't be able to have them big old steaks and all that stuff that they done intentionally tried to poison us with. So get you some big old bags of beans, some jasmine rice, not that white and rich, because it got a plastic in it. We got to start doing our research. But yeah, Auntie Fee had to get her one of them with a power outage generators. You know, I'm like, oh, I don't know nothing about this. Yeah. Yeah. They the ones ain't gonna know how to survive. We know how to survive. It's gonna be different though. I ain't gonna lie. But anyway, let's carry on. You got your own garden. I wish I did, Anthony. Oh, I wish I did. I have never ever in my life wanted to live in the country. On not necessarily a farm, but in the country where I can grow food. Now I did garden before. Had a beautiful garden. But I wish, and if I could right now, I really, really would start growing my own stuff.
Right now, and this is one we have to win. Look, if we were going to do this interview without this war taking place, we would have talked about how difficult the economic situation is for most Americans, other than Donald Trump's Epstein class, billionaire crew. We would talk about
and eggplant
how
grow
the
real
Trump
good.
regime has ripped away health care from so many people in North Carolina and across the country. How people are struggling to make rent if they're able to make it at all. How they are psychologically tortured, living paycheck to paycheck. How inflation was rising, how Donald Trump's tariffs against the world were an absolute disaster, and how after losing with the Supreme Court, he invoked another law unlawfully to make even worse tariffs after the Supreme Court said no. So that's what this would have. Now you add on top of it the war, and I know
you don't have a cash app.
You know, the Strait of Hormuz, the oil.
You don't have Zelle.
We should also be talking
about
quit
telling stories.
Helium, how that's impacting our farmers. Our farmers are saying they need at least another $12 to $20 billion bailout again because of the fertilizer costs after Trump screwed them with his trade war against the world. So everything now that we would talk about feels like it's compounded.
You've been working 15 hours a damn day.
And others are acting like this is like great. Like I think Hegseth said we should be saying thank you, thank you.
Yeah, not only are people frustrated that this administration is not focusing on what it said it would, which from day one was to lower costs.
He done got his ultimatum from Putin. Let me move on because I don't know where we at with this right now.
We still don't know the reason.
You serious?
Why they got into it, but
But you say you don't have cash app. Oh, school sweeps. Oh, school sweeps. I don't know what that is. Oh, school sweeps. Oh, them old, you better. All I'm gonna say is, they done play with your meat. All them fast food stuff got dead bodies. Okay, y'all don't want me to tell y'all the truth. What time is it? 10:44. Y'all don't want the truth. Hold on. I don't think this
letters begging an ally to stop attacking. You know, folks, I've sat behind that desk in the Oval Office. I've made calls in the middle of the night that carried the weight of American lives. And let me tell you something. When a sitting president of the United States is reduced to posting on social media in capital letters, begging an ally to stop attacking the target he says
so
he never approved.
You make about $2,000 or $3,000 a week. You already know that.
Wrong. Now look, I want to be fair here. This is not about party. This is not about settling scores. This is about something much bigger than any of us. 20 days ago, the United States entered a war alongside Israel against Iran. 20 days. And already we're watching the most powerful nation on earth publicly losing control of the very conflict it launched. Think about that for a moment.
Oh my God, why he gotta say it like that?
You'll find a covert,
they can't handle the truth. I'm trying. They can't say did nobody warn them. They would not be able to say that seriously.
In his own words, I told him, don't do that. He's talking about Prime Minister Netanyahu. He's talking about the strike on the South Pars gas field, the largest natural gas field on the planet. And yet it happened anyway. 13 American service members are gone.
Get them, Janet. Super chat, super sticker. Let me
our most advanced fighter jet took a combat hit for the first time.
Monty, you can give me more than $1.
The Pentagon is asking Congress
there you
for
go.
$200 billion. And the war isn't even a month.
But if all you got is $1, I'll take that too.
Took a combat hit for the first time in history.
Okay, let's be serious.
In his own words, I told him, don't do that. He's talking about Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Hold on.
20 days. And already we're watching the most powerful nation on earth publicly losing control of the very conflict it launched. Think about that for a moment. President Trump told reporters, in his own words, I told him, don't do that. He's talking about Prime Minister Netanyahu. He's talking about the strike on the South Pars gas field, the largest natural gas field on the planet. And yet it happened anyway.
Yep.
13 American service members are gone.
More than that.
An F-35, Our most advanced fighter jet took a combat hit for the first time in history. The Pentagon is asking Congress for $200 billion, and the war isn't even a month old. Oil is flirting with $120 a barrel, and we'll come back to every single one of those details, because each one tells a story about where we are and where we're headed. But here's the honest truth. What concerns me most isn't any single event. It's the pattern. It's the growing sense that the United States of America walked into this war without a clear exit, without a unified command, and without asking the hardest question any leader must ask.
Vote to go.
Who is this war actually for? Now, to understand where we are today, you've got to understand how we got here. And I think that story matters more than people realize. On February 28, 2026, the United States and Israel launched a joint military operation against Iran. Coordinated strikes, massive bombardment. The stated targets were Iran's missile program, its nuclear infrastructure, and its naval capabilities. And at the beginning, it looked, at least on the surface, like a tightly managed campaign between two close allies. President Trump spoke with real confidence in those first days. He told the Iranian people essentially that their moment of liberation was at hand, that they'd soon have the chance to rid themselves of 47 years of clerical rule. That's a big promise. That's not a limited military objective. That's regime change language. And we'll come back to that because it matters enormously. Now, Prime Minister Netanyahu, for his part, framed this as the culmination of a lifetime's work. He spent 40 years warning the world about Iran. And to be fair to him, he's not wrong that Iran poses a genuine threat.
Is this the one we've already heard?
Every president has. But there's a difference between recognizing a threat and having a coherent strategy to address it. Here's where the timeline starts to fracture. In the early days, it was joint. It was coordinated. But then Israel began pursuing its own objectives. High-level assassinations, targeting Iran's intelligence minister. And then on March 18th, the strike on the South Pars gas field. That's the moment everything changed. Now, Trump says he didn't approve it. He told reporters plainly, I told him, don't do that. He posted on Truth Social that the United States knew nothing about the attack before it happened. But here's where it gets complicated. Because two sources familiar with the matter told the Associated Press that the U.S. was made aware of Israel's plan ahead of time. One source said Israel's targets are being actively coordinated with the United States. So which is it? Either the president was informed and is now distancing himself because the consequences were worse than expected, or the president genuinely was not informed, and an allied nation carried out a massive strike on the world's largest gas field during a joint war without telling us. Let me tell you, neither answer is good. Neither answer reflects the kind of command and coordination that American leadership requires. And that gap, that space between what we're being told and what actually happened, that's not a small thing.
Vitamin D is the number one supplement everyone should take, no matter your age. But here's the problem.
That's the credibility of the commander-in-chief. And once you lose that, folks, it's very hard to get it back. Small thing. That's the credibility of the commander-in-chief. And once you lose that, folks, it's very hard to get it back. Now let me walk you through what actually happened here, because the details matter. They always do. On March 18th, Israeli forces struck the South Pars gas field. Now, most Americans hear that and think, okay, another military target. But this isn't just another target. South Pars is the largest natural gas field on the face of the earth. It sits in the Persian Gulf. And here's the part most people don't know. It's shared between Iran and Qatar. One field, two countries. Iran depends on it for its domestic energy
why do I
grid,
feel so much
electricity,
safer here?
heating,
I know,
the
right?
basic functioning of a nation of 90
I know.
million
I
people.
agree.
It's not
Because they talk
primarily
where we can understand. They don't have all that sarcasm. Because he talk like he just reading off of some paper. Like he don't know what he really talking about. So there is no nothing in it. It's just blah, 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 blah. And then he'll try to throw a little twist. Like, ugh, it's just horrible. It's so elementary. Oh my God. Oh my God. So at least we know that those two presidents know for real what's going on. And it's way more comforting.
export asset,
even though it's
like
bad
Cargill.
news.
It's the backbone of Iranian civilian life. So when Israel hit it, Iran didn't just absorb the blow.
Oh,
Iran
he can't do nothing but shit on himself.
And not against Israel, against Qatar, against Saudi Arabia, against Gulf energy infrastructure that the entire global economy depends on.
Wow.
17% of Qatar's liquefied natural gas capacity was knocked offline. Reuters reported the damage will take 3 to 5 years to repair. 3 to 5 years, folks. And what happened next? Oil surged to nearly $120 a barrel overnight before settling back around 100. Gas prices at the pump, which were already climbing, took another leap. And the Gulf allies, the very nations we depend on for regional stability, started calling Washington, not to offer support, but to demand that Trump re-end Netanyahu in.
It's cool.
Now, I want you to hear what one source familiar with the White House's Middle East strategy told
it's like
Politico.
being a child and
They
listening
said,
to
and I'm
a
quoting
mean,
directly,
a hateful stepdad. Yeah.
the only way Trump is going to snap out of this is to realize that Bibi Netanyahu is playing him. This war is hurting the U.S., it's bruising the Gulf region, and it's straining relationships with allies in Europe and the Gulf. The only person who's benefiting is Netanyahu. That's not me saying that. That's someone inside the orbit of this administration. And this is where things start to get really complicated. Because while energy markets were reeling and diplomats were scrambling, something else happened that shook the very foundation of American military prestige. A U.S. F-35 fighter jet, our most advanced aircraft.
Never been hit.
The crown jewel of a $2 trillion program.
Got hit.
Took a combat hit over Iran and was forced into an emergency landing. CENTCOM confirmed it. The pilot survived, thankfully, in stable condition.
What's she
But
say?
the symbolism of that moment cannot be overstated. And we're going to talk about what that means.
I bet you them letters big on that piece of paper.
For our credibility and for the trajectory of this war in just a moment. Now let me tell you something from experience. When I was president, we had situations, Kosovo being the most relevant, where we were working closely with allied nations in combat operations. And let me tell you what that looks like when it works. It means you're in the room together.
Yeah, I'm going to have to pause. I need for y'all to get the likes up. I'm 2 hours and 44 minutes in. So I'm going to pause until y'all can get that together. Let's get it together. The quicker we get it together, stable but hooked up. Absolutely. Or deceased. But again, they still remember when it comes to Trump, they're still on that depopulation. So it's like with the CO-19, they designed that for depopulation, the poisoning of the food, putting all type of is depopulation. So he said last week that some people are, that just kind of means that, more people are going to have to die. That was depopulation. Okay? You got to stay woke.
Targets, you know the timeline, and no one, no allied leader, no general, no one surprises the commander-in-chief of the United States with a military strike.
Oh, dang. I forgot. That's why I paused it. Y'all get the lights up. The next time I pause it, I'm going to pause it for real.
A crisis.
I'm not going to forget.
What we are watching unfold between President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu is something I have never seen in the modern history of the American presidency. You have the president saying publicly, on camera, to reporters, I told him, don't do that. You have Netanyahu responding that Israel acted alone. And then you have sources, credible sources, people familiar with the coordination, telling the Associated Press that the U.S. was informed ahead of time. Okay. So either the president knew and is now distancing himself because the consequences blew up in his face, or he genuinely didn't know, and an ally launched a strike on the world's most important gas field during a joint war without telling us. Now here's the part that really worries me.
Thank you, Monty, for the basketball. Oh, what is it?
Congress and said,
I don't know if I can hit the note. We're playing. I can't do it. I'm out of. We're playing basketball. We love that basketball. Thank you for the basketball. I tried to hit a note. It's too late now. Thank you, Monty.
Plain language that the objectives that have been laid out by the president are different from the objectives that have been laid out by the Israeli government. Think about that.
You need to deplote fast. Here's 6 reasons why you need seed. Seed is the best antibiotic on the market, period. It's made with 24.
The Director of National Intelligence, the President's own intelligence chief, is acknowledging publicly that we are fighting the same war with different goals. Joel Rubin, a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State, put it as clearly as anyone. Netanyahu has spent decades trying to pull America into a decapitating war against Iran. And Trump is the first president to say, go for it.
Dumbass.
That makes Benjamin Netanyahu arguably the first foreign leader in the post-World War II era to effectively draw the United States into a shooting war on his terms for his political survival. No one else managed it. Not during Korea, not during Vietnam, not during Iraq. And we'll come back to why that matters. Because the political math here is not what most people think. Now I want to talk about what this conflict is doing to America not just politically, but institutionally, because institutions are the backbone of a democracy, and right now they're under extraordinary strain. Let's start with the military. A U.S. F-35, our most advanced stealth fighter, the crown jewel of a program that's cost American taxpayers over $2 trillion across its lifetime, was struck by suspected Iranian fire and forced into an emergency landing. CENTCOM confirmed it. The pilot survived, thank God, and is in stable condition. But let me tell you what that means beyond the headlines. The F-35 was supposed to be untouchable. It was the aircraft that guaranteed American air superiority for a generation. And Iran, not China, not Russia, Iran managed to hit one within 3 weeks of combat. That's not just a military setback. That's a crack in the mythology of American invincibility. And our adversaries around the world are watching. Now let's talk about money. The Pentagon has submitted a request to Congress for over $200 billion, 20 days into this war. $200 billion. When I left office, we had a budget surplus. We paid down the national debt. I know what fiscal responsibility looks like, and this isn't it. For context, the Iraq War cost the United States over $2 trillion across 2 decades. We are on pace to match that in a fraction of the time, and without the congressional debate that even Iraq received. And that brings me to the Democratic deficit. This war was launched without meaningful congressional authorization. There's been no formal vote, no war powers resolution.
This is war. This is L.
No sustained public
Don't put this on the United States L. This is Trump's L by himself.
Have been killed. Approximately 200 have been wounded, and the American people are making their voices heard. A CNN poll found 59% disapprove of the strikes. Only 25% supported them at the outset, according to Reuters Ipsos. And Trump's own approval rating has hit a new low. When the people are this clearly against the war, and their voices aren't being channeled through Congress, something in our democratic system has broken down. Now here's where I want you to follow something very carefully, because this is the key to understanding why this war is unfolding the way it is. Netanyahu is winning. Not the war, the politics.
Yeah.
In Israel, according to the Israel Democracy Institute, nearly 93% of Jewish Israelis support the military operation.
But they boys in the bars.
Trust Netanyahu to handle it. The war has revived his political standing at a moment when just months ago he was politically wounded and facing domestic pressure over hostage negotiations and corruption charges. For Netanyahu, this war is oxygen. Now compare that to Trump's position. 59% of Americans disapprove. Gas prices are climbing toward levels that make people furious at the grocery store, at the pump, at the kitchen table. 66% disapprove of how he's handling energy costs. Inside the White House itself, and I'm not speculating here, this has been reported, recession fears are becoming a live concern.
All right, so just scatter some of this throughout your home and then watch what happens overnight.
Trump's approval has hit a new low for his second term. So you have a fundamental asymmetry. One leader is surging in popularity. The other is hemorrhaging support. And the leader who's surging, Netanyahu, has every incentive to escalate because escalation keeps him in power. The leader who's sinking, Trump, has every incentive to find an exit, but he can't find one without admitting the war's maximalist goals have failed. Now let me tell you why this reminds me of something. In 2006, the Iraq War turned the political environment so sharply against Republicans that Democrats won the House, the Senate, and set the stage for Barack Obama. War fatigue is real. Economic anxiety is real. And when the two combine, when Americans are watching flag-draped coffins and paying $4.50 a gallon, the political consequences are devastating. Republicans in Congress know this. That's why you already see cracks in the GOP over the $200 billion request. Senator Ruben Gallego, a Democrat, yes, but an Iraq War veteran, said it plainly. If the Pentagon is asking for $200 billion, they are asking for a long war. The answer is a simple no. And this is where things start to get very serious, because the question is no longer just about strategy. It's about whether America can find the exit before the bill becomes unpayable. Now, folks, I want to be honest with you. Not just about what's happened, but about what I see coming. Because a president, even a former one, has an obligation to think ahead. And right now I see three paths forward.
$4.90
and none of them
premium.
are easy. The first
These are
path
$5.39.
is that Trump reasserts control. He forces a ceasefire, accepts a limited outcome. Iran's nuclear program degraded, its military weakened, but the regime still standing. That's a defensible result. It's not what he promised, but it would stop the bleeding, economically, militarily, and diplomatically. The problem is, it requires Trump to admit that the maximalist rhetoric was wrong, that the Iranian people aren't going to rise up and overthrow their
them
government
truck drivers, ooh,
just
bless
because
your
we bomb
heart.
their military infrastructure. Trump himself has already hinted at this. He acknowledged the Iranian public isn't ready for revolution. That's a significant concession. And it tells me he knows, on some level, that the regime change theory has collapsed. But can he accept it publicly? That takes a kind of political discipline that I haven't seen from this White House.
Oh,
The second
no,
path
never.
is that Netanyahu continues to escalate independently. He's already hinted at a ground component, his words. If Israel pushes for ground operations in Iran, while the United States is providing air cover, logistics, and intelligence, we are looking at a level of commitment that dwarfs anything the American public signed up for. Oil could push well beyond $120. The Strait of Hormuz, through
They
which
said
20%
get up to
of the world's
$200
oil
a barrel.
passes, is under constant threat. A global recession becomes not a possibility, but a probability. The third path,
Right, the revenue's not
is
going
already
up,
happening,
only the fuel.
is that Iran's retaliation widens beyond Israel and the United States. It's already struck Qatar and Saudi Arabia. If Gulf energy infrastructure continues to be targeted, the United States will be pulled into defending
Thank God for
the
working from
entire
home.
region.
I
A
used to not
broader
like it.
commitment than any president has made since the Gulf War. And the $200 billion the Pentagon is asking for, that's just the opening bid. Iraq cost over $2 trillion. Afghanistan cost over $2 trillion. We've seen this movie before. The question, and I say this not with satisfaction, but with genuine worry, is whether this president has the diplomatic skill to find the exit ramp before we pass the point of no return.
If you eat garlic
Oh,
raw,
wow.
you're skipping the most important
Why
step.
y'all not
Most
trying to
people
help
think
this
garlic
man?
is already powerful. It's
You know, I've spent a lot of this conversation talking about strategy, about politics, about money. But I want to end where I think we should always end, with the values that define us. The founders of this country didn't create a system of government because they trusted power.
A baby
They
eating
created
beast
it because
from
they
here.
didn't. They built in checks and balances. Congress declares war. The president commands the military. The courts safeguard rights. Because they understood that unchecked authority, no matter how well-intentioned, leads to disaster. And right now, we're watching what happens when that system is bypassed. A war launched without congressional authorization. A president publicly rebuking an ally on social media because he's lost control of the very campaign he started. $200 billion being requested from Congress without a clear strategy, without a defined endpoint, and without an honest accounting of who benefits. Now let me be clear. The threat from Iran is real. I dealt with it. Every president has. And reasonable people can disagree on how to address it. I've never believed in simplistic answers to complicated problems. But I do believe this. The way a democracy wages war matters as much as whether it wages war. The process matters. The debate matters. The consent of the governed matters. And when 13 Americans have given their lives and their families are grieving tonight, they deserve to know that their sacrifice served a strategy that was coherent, deliberate, and in the national interest of a foreign leader trying to hold on to power. I'm not here to attack any individual. That's never been my way. But I am here to say, as someone who has sat in that chair, who has felt the weight of those decisions, that America deserves better than this.
Because this crap. Let's go,
leadership that tells us the truth, that builds alliances instead of watching them fracture in real time, that goes to Congress before going to war, and that never, ever lets another nation's political calculations determine when and where American blood is spilled. We've recovered from moments like this before. After Vietnam, after Iraq, this country found its footing again. Not because it was easy, but because the American people demanded honesty and accountability from their leaders. And I believe they'll do it again. The question isn't whether America is strong enough to fight this war. The question is whether we're wise enough to know how it should end.
Oh, Lord. Hold on. No. That ain't where I was trying to go. Sorry. Shout out to Sco, but that ain't where I was trying to go. Sorry. Hold on, because he had another one that we missed. Hold on. Hold on. About the nukes. Hold on.
Here's what you actually want in an emergency food supply. First and foremost, calories.
Hold on,
Spoiler
y'all.
alert.
Hit the like. What time is it? That one ended. Oh, it's saying, oh, let me turn this fan around. It's saying it's hot. Hold on. Oh, he trying to get us killed. For real. Hold on, y'all.
right now. Folks, I want you to sit with me for a minute, because what's happening right now, what's unfolded over the last 72 hours in the Persian Gulf, this isn't just another news cycle. This isn't just another headline designed to get
trying to get caught up on the truth, y'all.
This is one of those moments that determines the shape of the world your children and grandchildren are going to live in.
Okay.
Now look, I've been around long enough to know the difference between a crisis and a spectacle. I've sat in a situation room when the decisions were real and the consequences were permanent. And I'm telling you, what we are watching unfold between Israel, Iran, Qatar, and the United States right now has the weight of something historic. And I don't say that to scare you. I say that because you deserve to hear it straight.
He better stop, because they're coming after him.
Israel struck the largest natural gas field on Earth.
And we got hostages.
Iran retaliated by attacking Qatar,
and they're not telling us about
a country that had nothing to do with it, and crippled the biggest LNG export facility on the planet. The President of the United States responded by posting an ultimatum on social media, threatening to blow the whole field to pieces. And then Iran struck Qatar again. When energy infrastructure starts burning, it's not just pipelines and platforms that go up in smoke. It's jobs, it's heating bills, it's the price of everything from groceries to gasoline in every town across this country. But here's what concerns me most tonight. It's not just the fire and the missiles. It's the question underneath all of it. Is anybody in charge? Is there a strategy? Is there a steady hand guiding this? Or are we watching the most powerful nation on earth stumble through a crisis, one social media post at a time? That's what I want to walk through with you. Calmly, honestly, step by step. Now, before we get into the decisions that were made this week, we've got to remember
release the Epstein files, all of them. They coming out.
Because none of this happened in a vacuum. Every crisis has a genealogy. And if you don't understand it, you'll never understand the choices that made things better, or the ones that made things worse. In February of this year, the United States and Iran were sitting at a table in Geneva, indirect talks mediated by Oman, trying to hammer out something on the nuclear question. That's diplomacy. That's how you're supposed to do it. Imperfect, frustrating, painfully slow. But it's how grown nations resolve
painfully
things
slow.
without setting
I
the
don't
world
know how
on
to
fire.
take that. Painfully slow.
Then on February 28th, the U.S. and Israel launched nearly 900 strikes on Iranian territory. Operation Epic Fury, they called it. Just like that, the talking stopped and the burning started. By March 2nd, Iran had effectively shut down the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow passage where roughly 20% of the world's oil supply flows. Over 1,000 ships stuck. Oil shot past $100 a barrel, and the dominoes started falling. Here's the honest truth. Iran's nuclear ambitions were real. I dealt with that reality in my own presidency. There is a profound difference between taking a threat seriously and managing it wisely versus taking a threat seriously.
I don't know if I believe that, because then why would they be in negotiation for peace? And they were, and Iran was going along with the program. And then Trump sent a missile.
And lighting a match next to the gas tank. The JCPOA, the nuclear deal Barack Obama negotiated, wasn't perfect, but it was a framework. It was a mechanism.
It was
when
something.
President Trump pulled out of that deal in 2018, moved the one structure that was keeping all parties at the table. And every step since then has narrowed the off-ramp. When you abandon diplomacy without a better plan, you don't get strength. You get exactly what we have right now. A gas field burning in Iran, an LNG in ruins in Qatar, and American families about to feel every bit of it at the pump and in their utility bills. Now let me walk you through exactly what happened, because the details matter. On Wednesday, March 18th,
they are living on military
Israel
bases,
struck Iran's South Pars gas field. South Pars is the largest natural gas field in the world. It sits in the Persian Gulf, shared between Iran and Qatar. Iran calls their side South Pars. Qatar calls theirs the North Field. Together, they hold roughly 10% of the world's proven gas reserves. When Israel hit that field, not striking a military target. They were putting a match to one of the load-bearing pillars of the global energy economy. Iran's response came fast, and it came sideways, not at Israel.
The Thermotemp smoker by Astrobuilt is the most advanced propane smoker on the market. But you don't. You care about this.
But at Qatar, they struck Ras Laffan Industrial City.
Absolutely.
The single largest LNG export facility
I don't know what I'm gonna do
on the planet.
Because I'm a pescatarian.
2 of 14 LNG processing trains were knocked offline. 17% of Qatar's total
and
LNG
I'm trying to eat on the U.
Gone. Not for weeks, not for months, for 3 to 5 years, according to engineers on the ground. $20 billion a year in revenue wiped
eating
out.
On that Circle U, trying to find everything with that Circle U.
On contracts with Italy, Belgium,
my water
South
too.
Korea, and China. Countries that were counting on that gas to heat homes, power factories, keep their economies running. They just got told the supply isn't coming. Then President Trump posted on Truth Social. He said Israel would make, quote, no more attacks on South Pars, but warned Iran that if they struck Qatar again,
hold on,
the United States...
Y'all do know what I'm talking about when I say I'm trying to eat and drink on the U, right? Y'all do know what I mean, right? I'm trying, the kosher. What they haven't put the poison in. What they feed their kids. You got to check your water. You got to check everything to make sure that it is safe to eat and drink. Because if not, there's a good chance it has been altered. So even the water. Now y'all saw yesterday I changed my little water up. Cause I got this big old, how many ounces? My eternal water. How many ounces is this thing? Where'd that go to U? Y'all see that U, that Circle U? You wanted a K or a U. That means that they have poisoned it or put some metals and all that crazy stuff in. It means it is authentic and it is how they eat. So make sure y'all look for the kosher. That Circle K or Circle U or organic. So this big bottle here, I got about 10 of them for $2. I can handle that. Yeah, you look for the U. If it's not in the front, it's on the back. So when you write your grocery list out, you need to go and check. Even the kosher veggies taste better. Yep, got to look for that K, because that's their code. That's how they eat. They don't want to be able to, they don't want to poison their kids, their loved ones, so they mark it. Let me see if my little, I need to double check this, if I can buy this again. Let me see, my you know, that's registered. I may not be able to get this no more. Let me see. I don't see no K. Or the U. Oh, hell. Although it says no artificial flavors, no added color, nut-free, and it says vegan. Okay. That's the only thing that may be saving, that is vegan. When it starts saying, let me see, natural in the ingredients, if it says natural flavors, then they say that means that they are using embryos. So only thing to probably save me on here is that it's vegan. But that's how we gotta eat, y'all. Look for that U. Ain't that sad? Where's this light coming from? Oh, that's this light over here. Okay. Let's go.
Would, quote,
I buy all organic. Yeah, that's good.
Of the field.
But if money start getting funny, them groceries start getting too high.
Issued on a social
I like organic too, but they
in the middle of a shooting
they
war.
spraying that. Okay, hold on.
And here's what happened.
Now we know that they are spraying the food, the vegetables and stuff in the grocery stores, especially Sprouts, and I buy Sprouts. That water that they spray the food with ain't water; it's a chemical. Produced, I think, by Bill Gates. Just FYI.
And that if they struck Qatar again, the United States would, quote, massively blow up the entirety of the field.
A VPN is an ultimate tool to keep your online connection private and your browsing free of meddling internet service providers and network regulators.
I heard a video where they're calling people back.
To a sovereign nation.
It's at
Sprouts. Social media platform.
It's a chemical to take the organic away from organic. They're trying to take us out. So they say you're supposed to wash your fruits and vegetables with soda. That's why I say get a bag of baking soda. A couple of them. And even though your water says spring, you want to make sure it's alkaline to kill those toxins. Organic, in my opinion, is growing your own. Oh, okay. Dig that. Because you can't trust them. And even that, Tammy, when they start spraying the stuff in the air, they're spraying toxins. They are hell bent on depopulation. Why are you in the air spraying poison? It's just like even with COVID. I remember every time I would go outside, even though it didn't matter how long I was out there, I would feel nasally and kind of coughish or kind of funny. It was, and I knew that something was in the air. That's why I stayed my ass in the house. Because every time I went outside, I could tell. Yeah, it's just crazy. The intensity of trying to take people
Qatar
out.
Energy declared force majeure on contracts with Italy, Belgium, South Korea,
Hell-bent.
and China. Countries that were counting on that gas to heat homes, power factories, keep their economies running. They just got told the supply isn't coming. Then President
Real
Trump
proud.
posted on
Yeah, they
Truth
said
Social,
enough people didn't take the
he
shot.
said Israel would make, quote, no more attacks on South Pars, but warned Iran that if they struck Qatar again, the United States would, quote, massively blow up the entirety of the field.
Plane sprayed
An
it. Yep.
ultimatum to a sovereign nation issued on a social media platform in the middle of a shooting war. And here's what happened next.
So now when you
Iran
have a gun, you have to
Ras
have
Laffan again.
a shield over it.
On Thursday, March 19th, oil briefly touched $119 a barrel. European natural gas prices surged 11% in a single session. The Strait of Hormuz remained effectively blocked. Saad Al-Kaabi, CEO of Qatar Energy, said, I never in my wildest dreams would have thought that Qatar would be in such an attack, especially from a brotherly Muslim country in the month of Ramadan. He said the region has been set back 10 to 20 years.
Because of Trump.
That's
and
not a politician talking. That's a
Bibi
man looking at
Netanyahu.
the ruins of something it took decades to build. This isn't just an energy crisis. This is a trust crisis. Qatar positioned itself as a neutral broker, a safe harbor for investment, a bridge between East and West. That reputation, built over a generation, has been shattered in 72 hours. Now here's where I have to be genuinely honest.
Let's go.
Iran's nuclear ambitions are a legitimate threat. They were a threat when I was president. They remain a threat today.
But they were not at that time.
I understand the
I don't care
argument
what you
that when
say.
diplomacy has been exhausted, military options have to be on the table. Reasonable people can disagree about whether we reach that point in February. I have serious doubts, but I respect that it's a close call. What is not a close call, what should concern every American regardless of party,
Now, Bubba.
is how this has been executed.
Now, Bubba, I don't know if you remember or not, so let me help you out. Now, in June, when he thought he was popping his collar like he was Steve Harvey, some damn body, and he was negotiating with them, and Russia, Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, wasn't that who it was? And they attacked, and he was saying, I told you not to hold it, don't do that. Who was that? Oh, no, that was that Russia and Ukraine? Who was he trying to act like he was holding off, like he was doing something big? They all been playing in his face. Because he been trying to make deals with everybody. Over being under all of that, having someone think that they deal was sealed, and then Qatar was one of them. Because they wanted the West Bank. And Bibi Netanyahu was pissed. Because, yeah. And he told them to stop going over there and leave it alone or something. And Bibi Netanyahu did what he wanted to do, like he did the other day, and bomb them people over there and bomb that natural gas.
It's the question of congressional authorization. The Constitution is not a suggestion. Article 1, Section 8 gives Congress, not the President, the power to declare war.
I tried a bunch of different probiotics before seed.
And
he already out of order. He out of order. And that's why they saying...
The War Powers Act of 1973 requires the President to consult with Congress.
It's not legal. So what he's wanting to do ain't legal.
Hostilities. 900 strikes on a sovereign nation is not a limited engagement. It is war. The House voted on a measure to halt the operation, and it was voted down. But that doesn't make the constitutional question go away. It makes it worse. Because Congress chose to abdicate its own authority. Second, the apparent disconnect between the United States and Israel over the South Pars strike. President Trump said he knew nothing about it.
I don't believe him.
Netanyahu said Israel acted alone.
I don't believe that either.
But multiple Israeli officials reportedly indicated that the United States was informed. Neither answer is good. If the President genuinely did not know that our closest ally was about to strike the largest gas field on Earth, we have an intelligence and coordination failure
the problem is
of staggering proportion.
Is that, hold on, let me tell y'all what the problem is. Bibi Netanyahu knew the deal. Bibi Netanyahu. But this new guy, the interim, he didn't know. You understand? Bibi did. But the new guy didn't. And because they still trying to act like he alive, that was a cross. That underhanded shit going on. Now you got somebody in here that don't know nothing about what's going on, right? Somebody in there now who's going to try to follow the rules and do what they're supposed to do because he just got put in it. He don't know what the hell is going on. And then they still want to try to act like Bibi Netanyahu is alive. Yeah, there we go. That's easy. Trump don't know what he's doing. He don't know this other guy. And he trying to understand. Them dots probably ain't connecting. He like, wait, what? Yeah, no.
I
thought we was at war.
Was informed. Neither answer is good. If the President genuinely did not know that our closest ally was about to strike the largest gas field on Earth, we have an intelligence and coordination failure of staggering proportions.
You have a change in staff.
And if the President did know and chose to deny it publicly, we have a credibility problem that undermines everything we say to every other nation watching. When I was in the Oval Office, we had a rule. You don't get surprised by your allies, and your allies don't get surprised by you. That's the architecture of trust that allows coalitions to hold together.
Well, first, then acknowledge that Bibi Netanyahu is gone.
Security diplomacy on Truth Social.
Get up out this mess.
Every syllable is parsed by allies and adversaries alike. You don't issue an ultimatum to a nation state on a platform you personally own. That's not strength. That's performance masquerading as strategy.
Well, that's Trump.
And when Iran calls the bluff and strikes Qatar again the very next day, you haven't just lost credibility for this president. You've damaged the credibility of the American presidency itself. Fourth, the strategic incoherence. The president threatened to destroy South Pars if Iran attacked Qatar again. But South Pars is one of the key reasons global energy markets haven't completely collapsed. Destroying it would be the single most destructive act against the global energy supply chain in modern history.
Y'all better get
sending
y'all
oil
a
and gas
generator.
prices into what one analyst called absolutely apocalyptic territory. The threat is either a bluff, which damages deterrence, or it's sincere, in which case the cure is worse than the disease. Your threats have to be credible, proportionate, and strategically coherent. If they're not all three, you're not deterring anyone. You're just making noise. Now I want to step back and talk about the institutions that are supposed to protect us. Congress. The founders understood that the decision to go to war
didn't go through the right
should
channels.
never rest in one person's hands alone. The president launched a massive military operation without a declaration of war, without an authorization for the use of military force, and without meaningful congressional debate. When Congress had the chance to reassert its authority, the House voted it down. That is an institutional failure that should frighten every American who believes in constitutional governance, regardless of who sits in the White House next. Our alliances. Qatar is one of America's most important strategic partners. Al Udeid Air Base, the largest U.S. military installation in the region, is
I
in
wonder
Qatar.
how they
And what has happened in the last 72
Trojan
hours?
Hearts playing.
A country that had nothing to do with the
They
conflict has seen its most
I
valuable
thought it was because he
economic
promised
asset
them
crippled.
the West Bank.
Al-Kabi said it plainly. If Israel attacked Iran, it's
And gave him
between
some
Iran
gold.
and Israel. It has nothing to do with us. He's right. And yet Qatar is paying the highest price of anyone. Think about what every other American ally in the Gulf is thinking tonight.
Please hit the like
The
button.
Saudis, the Emiratis.
Everybody feeling some type of way. Everybody feel betrayed except well, Trump feeling betrayed now
This is the
because they won't help him
Wi-Fi hotspot that people wish they
with the
found
Strait
The
of
Kuwaitis.
Hormuz.
They're
Hermes.
asking if this can happen to Qatar, a country that hosted American forces, maintained neutrality, invested in global
Thank you,
energy
Janet.
infrastructure, then what exactly does an American alliance guarantee? That question is more dangerous to American power than any Iranian missile. American global leadership rests on trust. The belief that being America's partner makes you safer, not more vulnerable. And right now, that belief is crumbling. The economic damage is enormous. ExxonMobil holds significant stakes in the damaged Qatar facilities.
And he
Force
got
majeure has been
a Shell
declared
gas station.
on LNG contracts with Italy, Belgium, South Korea, and China. The North Field expansion, the cornerstone of global LNG supply growth for the next 2 decades. The project meant to help Europe reduce dependence on Russian gas is now delayed indefinitely. You cannot bomb your way to energy security. It has never worked. And American deterrence took a direct hit on March 19th. The president told Iran the consequences would be catastrophic if they attacked Qatar again. Iran attacked. The consequences have not materialized.
Right.
Because the next time the United States tells an adversary, don't do this or else, that adversary is going to remember March 19th. On the political dimension, Trump is caught between competing pressures.
That dome didn't work. That Iron Dome
struck
wasn't
South
shit.
Pars, apparently without full U.S. authorization, triggering the escalation Trump is now trying to contain. Meanwhile, Trump needs to appear strong, but cannot afford spiraling gas prices. Vice President Vance reportedly met with the American Petroleum Institute, whose CEO said there is just no substitute right now for the energy flowing through the Strait of Hormuz. The oil industry wants stability, not escalation. The ultimatum problem is severe. When you say you will destroy the world's largest gas field if a line is crossed, and that line is crossed, you have two options.
Piss and get off the pot.
Economically catastrophic, or don't, and your adversaries just learned your threats are hollow. You never make a threat you're not prepared to carry out. And you never make a threat where carrying it out hurts you as much as it hurts them. Let me also say something about my own party. The Democratic position opposing the war, challenging its constitutional basis, calling for restraint is substantively correct. But being correct isn't enough. Democrats need to offer a credible alternative. It's not enough to say this is wrong. You have to say, here's what right looks like. If all we offer is criticism without a plan, we're not leading.
This records conversations better than taking notes ever could. This is Pocket, an AI note taker that records conversations.
We're just commenting. So where does this go? I see three possible paths. The first is de-escalation. If the United States can broker a ceasefire with meaningful security guarantees and a credible framework for Iran's nuclear program, the energy shock could be contained. But the trust shattered will take years to rebuild. Qatar's infrastructure will take 3 to 5 years to restore. De-escalation stops the bleeding. It doesn't undo the damage. The second is controlled escalation. Iran defies American ultimatums. The U.S. retaliates against Iranian infrastructure. The war becomes attritional. Oil stays above $100 a barrel, possibly reaching 130. Europe enters recession. Global inflation surges. India, China, and other major economies begin building parallel supply chains that exclude the United States. That's not a temporary adjustment. That's a permanent reshaping of the global order. The third, and I pray we don't get there, is uncontrolled escalation. Iran targets energy infrastructure beyond the Persian Gulf. Prices go absolutely apocalyptic. This becomes a global economic crisis on the scale of 2008, with a military dimension that makes it far worse and far longer lasting. Even the best scenario involves years of recovery. The question is whether decisions made in the coming days will limit the damage or multiply it. And that is why actual leadership matters. Disciplined, informed, strategically coherent, constitutionally grounded, and accountable. Let me close with this. Beyond the barrel prices and the missile strikes, there are people, real people, whose lives have been upended by decisions they had no part in making. There are families in Qatar tonight, attacked not because of anything Qatar did, but because geography and geology placed them next to the world's largest gas field. And powerful nations decided that field was a legitimate target.
Seriously.
There are working Americans in Ohio, in Pennsylvania, in Michigan, in every state who are going to feel this at the gas pump, in their heating bills, in the price of groceries. They didn't ask for this war. They weren't consulted, but they're going to pay for it every day until this is resolved. There are sailors in the Strait of Hormuz navigating one of the most dangerous waterways in the world because the diplomatic architecture meant to prevent this was allowed to collapse.
For greed.
And there are
And because he
civilians in
running from
Iran,
the damn Epstein files.
mothers, fathers, children, caught in a war they didn't choose, governed by a regime that doesn't answer to them. We've got to remember who we are. America at its best doesn't just project power, it projects purpose. It doesn't conduct diplomacy by social media posts. It builds coalitions, nurtures alliances, and leads by example. I'm not naive. I know the world is dangerous. I know Iran's nuclear ambitions are real.
Okay.
I know that sometimes force is necessary.
It's Persia,
I used it myself. But the measure of a great nation is not just its willingness to fight, it's its wisdom in choosing when and how to fight, and its commitment to the democratic values that make the fighting worth anything at all. The Constitution requires that the decision to go to war be shared between the President and Congress. That requirement isn't being honored.
Nope.
Our alliances require that we protect on a social media platform.
Oh, I'm sorry.
In the middle, prices go absolutely apocalyptic. This becomes a global economic crisis on the scale of 2008, with a military dimension that makes it far worse and far longer lasting. Even the best scenario involves years of recovery. The question is whether decisions made in the coming days will limit the damage or multiply it. And that is why actual leadership matters. Disciplined, informed, strategically coherent,
He ain't none of that.
constitutionally grounded, and accountable. Let me close with this. Beyond the barrel prices and the missile strikes, there are people, real people, whose lives have been upended by decisions they had no part in making.
Right.
There are families in Qatar tonight, attacked not because of anything Qatar did, but because geography and geology placed them next to the world's largest gas field, and powerful nations decided that field was a legitimate target. There are working Americans in Ohio, in Pennsylvania, in Michigan, in every state who are going to feel this at the gas pump, in their heating bills, in the price of groceries. They didn't ask for this war. They weren't consulted, but they're going to pay for it every day until this is resolved. There are sailors in the Strait of Hormuz navigating one of the most dangerous waterways in the world because the diplomatic architecture meant to prevent this was allowed to collapse. And there are civilians in Iran, mothers, fathers, children, caught in a war they didn't choose, governed by a regime that doesn't answer to them. We've got to remember who we are. America at its best doesn't just project power, it projects purpose. It doesn't conduct diplomacy by social media posts. It builds coalitions, nurtures alliances, and leads by example.
If you want to build a self-sustaining garden, listen carefully.
You don't know what the hell he's
This tiny space can
doing.
produce enough food for my family. Cutting.
I'm not naive. I know the world is dangerous. I know Iran's nuclear ambitions are real. I know that sometimes force is necessary. I used it myself. But the measure of a great nation is not just its willingness to fight, it's its wisdom in choosing when and how to fight, and its commitment to the democratic values that make the fighting worth anything at all. The Constitution requires that the decision to go to war be shared between the President and Congress. That requirement isn't being honored. Our alliances require that we protect our partners. That obligation isn't being met. Our democratic values require that military power be transparent, accountable, and subject to the rule of law. That standard is slipping. I'm calling on both parties to demand proper congressional oversight of this military action, not because of politics, because of the Constitution, because of what we owe the men and women in uniform, because of what we owe every American who deserves to know their government is acting with care, strategy, and respect for the law.
Okay, y'all gonna have to shut it down.
And I'm calling on the American people to hold their leaders to a higher standard. Not a partisan standard, a democratic standard. Ask the hard questions. Demand honest answers. Don't settle for performances of strength when what you need is the real thing. Democracy is a promise.
Ain't nothing like the real thing.
That power will be exercised with care, accountability, and respect for the people it serves. That promise is being tested right now, and the fires burning across the Persian Gulf, and the prices rising at every gas station in America, and the credibility gaps between what our leaders say.
Okay, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Mwah. Thank y'all. Hit the like button on the way out.